Okay.
So much. Be safe out there. And we just want everyone to get home as quickly as possible from this. Very, very scary scene still. They're all around the entire area of Union Station and to
Hello.
on over to Crown Center and on up really the parade route too. It's time to
Y'all
get
made it
everyone
back.
out of downtown. We're going to go to Gianni Navarro now for the latest on what you are seeing from where
I
where
think
are
somebody
you right
has
now,
been
Gianni, right?
apprehended, though.
Near the corner
I
where
was
it
trying to hurry
happened,
up
right?
and set up this live.
Yeah, Carolyn, unfortunately, near where it happened,
Hey,
I'm on
Happy.
Pershing
Hey,
Road
Queen.
and Kessler Road. We are behind police
No,
tape
frazzled.
and where all the media is being set up right now. Now, before this, I was
This is
actually on the
crazy,
opposite
Sicilian.
side.
It is.
But right now, you can see a heavy police presence. There is EMS on scene, paramedics, fire here on scene right now. But I was actually on the opposite side on Grand Boulevard because I was covering the parade originally, and I actually made my way over here. While I was making my way over here, I was told I was unsafe. So I made sure that I was in a safe location. I was able to find that. But in the meantime, before I got here, I was talking to a few families and I was asking them what they experienced.
Yes,
And,
frazzled. I saw
some
that.
say they heard the
Hello,
pops and the
Alabama
shots,
mom.
and some others say they didn't, but they just saw everyone running and it was chaotic. So they just started to follow the crowd and run as well.
Yes, I saw that,
I spoke
frazzled.
to one
Shit.
father and son who said they were just trying to get by Union Station. All of a sudden, they told everyone to shelter, lock the doors, and they were locked into Union Station for a bit before they were released.
Well,
So, but the main theme here is everyone is kind of somber and upset because today was supposed to be a day about celebration, celebrating our Chiefs and their back-to-back victory, and all of a sudden something like this happens. So everyone says they are saddened by what is happening here, but of course everyone I spoke to was safe. This is definitely a tragic event, but I will definitely let you know any more details as soon as I get them, you guys. Carolyn, back to you for now.
All right, thank you, Gianni.
It is. Yeah, that's exactly right.
We're going to get to Scott in just a second, but Kansas City, Missouri Police will be holding
Makes you feel
a news
like you don't
conference
want
with
to
Mayor Quentin Lucas in just a few minutes.
go out
All
anywhere.
right, now we can get back. Sorry about that, Scott. Take it away.
All right, Brad, just a couple of quick updates here. I'm still just across the street from the Crown Plaza and probably 30 yards or so from the reunification point here at Main and Pershing, and everything looks quiet there, and I can confirm it is quiet. I talked to one of the officers, and he said that all families have been reunified, so there's nobody outstanding in terms of family members unaccounted for or anything like that, so that's some good news. I also asked about the incident in terms of apprehending a suspect inside the parking lot here at the Crown Plaza, and he said to me that was a separate thing. So he wouldn't elaborate on exactly what that was as opposed to what might have been going on at Union Station earlier, but apparently we may have multiple incidents here going on simultaneously, guys.
Yeah, that's what it sounded like, Scott.
God.
You're right. It's apparently an incident separate from the shooting in front of Union Station, but nevertheless, people are absolutely terrified down in that area. Parade goers who were there, not sure what to think, told to evacuate, and then all of a sudden those who are trying to evacuate, some of them were told to shelter in place again. So it has been a harrowing afternoon, and the reports that are coming out, multiple people hurt, 8 to 10 people hurt, some victims at Children's Mercy Hospital. Mind-numbing to think about that this day started as a celebration of our team that just won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's so sad.
The day
Come
was
on,
supposed
people.
It was supposed to be a celebratory party for Kansas City, and now no doubt a panic scene and a crime scene that will last for a few more hours at least as they investigate what exactly transpired here, and no doubt will put a black eye on what was to be a bright spot on Kansas City's history.
Well, this is making national, international news right now. This is what's being reported on, not just in Kansas City, but all of the major news outlets around the country now looking at Kansas City, checking out what is happening. And you're right, this is not it's not a good look for this city, especially when the city was it encouraged people to gather and to party as one, to celebrate their Kansas City Chiefs, and it's anything but a celebration now.
By all accounts, was a fabulous day up until just about 2 o'clock. We are now getting towards 3:30, and we understand that Mayor Quinton Lucas, who had been up on that stage celebrating our winning team, will join the police chief of Kansas City, Missouri, here with a news conference, and we will bring that to you just as soon as they get started talking here, because we are anxious to, this is such a wide scene here, and it has been hard to kind of gather bits and pieces from each corner.
Yeah, now I'm
and so we are
seeing.
hoping that Chief Stacey Graves can kind of bring it all together for us and kind of at least surmise what has happened,
let's see what Senator
and
Shogun
assure us
said.
that indeed the scene is safe now.
Well, and that's what, for our viewers at home, as you're watching, I mean, you can tell that there's still crime tape up. There are still.
Okay, we'll go back to that in a second. Shit.
Gun here, and I have no idea what is going on right now. I know that that is not a great way to start the video, but I'm just being honest. But here's what I do know. There's a lot of chaos in Washington, D.C. right now. Apparently, a very credible threat has been made against the United States, or to put it in their word, there is a serious threat to national security. Now, members of Congress have been made aware about this threat. President Joe Biden is now aware of this threat, but they are choosing not to say anything. They have yet to say anything to the American people. And now the House Intelligence Committee chairman is calling for them to come out and tell America what type of threat we are dealing with. Like I said, at the time of this recording, I have no idea what these people are talking about. Things may change by the time you watch this video, but let me go ahead and dive right into this statement. House Intelligence Committee Chairman Turner's statement on serious national security threat. House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence Chairman Mike Turner issued the following statement this morning. Today, the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence has made available to all members of Congress information concerning a serious national security threat. I am requesting that President Biden declassify all information relating to this threat so that Congress, the administration, and our allies can openly discuss the actions necessary to respond to this threat. Folks, I wish I could tell you that I knew exactly what they were talking about here. I don't. I mean, we could speculate, we could assume, a lot of people are going to think maybe this has something to do with our southern border. That's what I was thinking at first. But then he says, we need to discuss this, openly discuss this with Congress, the current administration, and our allies. So if this was something that was just affecting America, I don't know if they would throw the allies part in there. We need to discuss stuff with our allies. But they say this is a national security threat. So I don't think this is a threat that American forces are facing in a foreign country. This sounds to me like they have credible evidence that there's going to be an enemy attack on American soil. Now, like I said, we don't know that for sure. I'm just trying to connect the dots here. They say a national security threat, which makes you think of a threat that would, threaten us on our home soil. At least that's what I think of when I think of a national security threat. And then they throw in the talk of discussing stuff with our allies. If this was a domestic situation that didn't involve other countries, I don't think we would need to discuss anything with our allies. However, they say we need to talk to our allies about this. So I'm guessing that this has something to do with some of the ongoing wars that are happening right now. it's got to be something big. It's got to be something really serious for them to come out here and put this statement out publicly, for the House Intelligence Committee to put this statement out publicly. They did this for a reason, because privately they've already tried to get Congress and the president to discuss this situation, to declassify this information so there could be an open discussion. But obviously that wasn't working. So now they put it right out here for all of us to see, so the American public can apply pressure to members of Congress and to our president to release this information. And I don't know about you all, but I think that it is, words can't describe how I feel inside right now, knowing that they're out here playing with our lives, playing with our safety. Oh, we're going to dangle this little information in front of your face. Oh, there's a serious national security threat, but we can't tell you anything. And then they wonder why we have so many conspiracy theories and why people are so skeptical of everything. It's because of this. And it's almost done as a design. It's almost as if they want you to be a conspiracy theorist. They want you to think the worst. They want you to speculate. They want you to do those things so they can try to discredit you in the future or something. I don't know. But you putting out this information out there, it's going to get people riled up because we want to know what's going on. And there's a possibility that we may never know what's going on. I don't expect Joe Biden to tell us what's happening. Even if he was going to tell us, could he properly convey what's going on? I don't think so. I don't think he really put into words what was going on. He would ramble off about something else that we don't even understand. So here we are, Valentine's Day. We should be spending the day with our loved ones, eating chocolate, giving roses, going out to eat. Yet here we have a serious national security threat. No one knows what the threat is. We just all know that something's going to happen. But I could talk about this stuff until I'm blue in the face. If you've been watching my channel, we've been talking about things like this for months. This doesn't really come as a big surprise, but here we are. And now the mystery is, what is this threat? Is this threat coming from Russia? Is it coming from China? Is it coming from Iran? Do we need to worry about a terrorist attack on American soil? What are we dealing with here? I wish at the very least we knew what type of ballpark we were in. You know, what exactly are we dealing with? Maybe not specifics, but can we get a little tidbits of information? So who knows? Maybe throughout the day or throughout the week, we'll get more information about this. Hopefully, they'll be willing to talk about this before whatever happens and it's too late. But I wouldn't put anything past them. For now, let me know your thoughts about this down in the comments below. While you're down there, if you're feeling generous, you can donate to the channel via Cash App, or you can donate via Super Thanks, or for free. You can help the channel by liking, sharing, subscribing, all of that good stuff. But with that being
Yeah, they should be telling us what's going on. This is stupid. I don't trust them anyway, though. I don't trust anything they say. So
such a heavy police presence. We had a shooting incident right after the parade, and then anywhere from 40 to 45 minutes after that, there was another incident across the way inside a hotel where then guests were told to shelter because there was an incident. We're not sure exactly what happened there, but again, we've seen there are still many ambulances on the scene. We have seen
you can't trust
officers with guns drawn as of
I wouldn't trust Biden
20
even
minutes
if he
ago.
did have his damn
the scene
wits about
has
him.
calmed down since then, but
He
a
absolutely
massive
doesn't.
police presence in downtown Kansas City right now. And so a lot of people just kind of shaking their heads saying, what more? What else is going to happen? This has been an unbelievable day.
And they are asking
like to know what else is gonna happen
everyone, if you know of someone down there, this is not a time to sit and watch and try to see what's happened. It is a time to get on home as safely and quickly as you can. They're also asking that everybody in the Union Station parking garage move out, do
Send 'em
not
a
come in
shotgun,
there.
we just
They
listen
need
to
all
back.
of that space for all of these emergency vehicles to tend to these potential victims or anyone left there at the scene that they need to deal with. So they're
I don't
asking
trust
basically
one of
everyone
them
to
ever
move
go
out
there anyway.
as quickly but as safely as possible so that they can get a better handle on the expansiveness
This is
of
not
this crime
the
scene.
kind of shit I
It
want
is a
for my
big one, but
grandkids.
the corner of Union Station that you were just seeing there is where allegedly those
Hey,
initial
Snake,
shots were
it is
fired.
crazy, isn't
The
it?
ones of great concern that led to the injuries that we're talking of here, between 8 and 10 people injured. Conditions are not confirmed yet. We are hearing unconfirmed conditions on some of these people, but we're waiting to get full confirmation before we bring that to
Cinema
you. But
Shogun
we are
just put
hearing
out a
that area
video.
hospitals, University Health, Children's Mercy, and St.
There's
Luke's
been
all
a threat
have
to
received patients. So it is
American
And we're hoping the
citizens.
best for them, for sure.
doubt
All right,
about it.
Arneel Jones
It is a sad world.
he was very close to the shooting situation.
People are
when it all
too
went
hateful
down.
these days.
We want
People
to check
don't care
back
about
in
life.
with Neil for more reporting.
This isn't
Neil?
about guns or drugs. It's about all of it.
Well,
It's about people
this is
not
the spot I
caring
was
about
at, actually a little
humanity.
closer in the intersection. We were preparing to go forward and do interviews with fans at the end
It's
of the
disgusting.
at the end of the event on stage. It ended. People started walking out.
Right. It's
Photographer
about
Greg Malone
nobody
and I
cares
started
about
walking
anything
into the
anymore.
intersection, and all of a sudden, like a stream of
Nothing but
firecrackers
hateful
going
and
off, pop,
ugliness
pop, 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 pop,
everywhere.
and people began to run in any direction. This is some video that Greg shot at that moment, and I think it captures the fear in the moms, dads, grandparents' faces as they had young children. They were trying to get their older
I hear my
parents and
great nieces
grandparents
talking
out.
about,
You had whole
you know,
families
their
here that had
friends
been here all day
ODing and stuff.
celebrating the wonderful
They
thing,
don't
and
think that
suddenly
much of
you've got the
it.
police
They
rushing
don't.
in and going in multiple directions because it looked like
They
that
don't
there were
see it as
people
that big of a
fleeing.
deal.
I don't know if that was true or not. Someone yelled, "There's the shooter," and the police went running off in that direction. I have no idea if that was correct or
Right?
not.
Yeah,
But a
I know,
bunch of
because it
police
makes
went
you
one
crazy
way,
sometimes,
police
right? And you're
spread
like, I
out
need to say
and began
something.
to look at the various
I
people
get
who
it,
had been
Snake, I
shot.
do.
But the crowd was going in all directions, just as you would expect they would do in such a harrowing, horrible
Yeah,
moment.
we were just listening
Again,
to the
what makes it so terrible is there were
actually I
so
was
many families involved, and you're just
not
trying to
being able
get
to pay
out.
attention
Our
to
photographer saw at least two people
that
who they were
trial.
performing CPR on the ground. They also appeared to subdue someone. I heard somebody, and I do not know if it was a police officer, say that man is a suspect.
As
And
far
there
as
were
that
3 or 4
trial, I
police
think that the
officers on
prosecution's going
him.
to fuck it
They
all up
got him
anyway.
to
That's the way
subdue
I'm
and
seeing
took
it.
him off in a golf cart. They took one victim off
I could see
immediately
reasonable
on
doubt
what looked to be a fire
big time.
department or a police golf cart that was for situations like this. And then they took
Oh, it
them
is
to
worse since the
ambulances that were
pandemic. It is. I think
nearby.
so.
The presence here by the police and law enforcement was big all day long, as you would expect when you have a massive crowd in one place. So there were many, many police
Actually, I
officers
think
immediately on
things
the
got a
scene.
lot worse after
Again,
9/11 with
you're
those
afraid.
laws
You
they
don't know what
passed.
direction to run. I didn't know. Our photographer, we didn't know which direction to go because we didn't know if
In
there
the
were
name of
multiple
safety, we'll give
gunmen
up
or
all
what
kinds of
direction
shit.
they were going. But eventually, and I
Patriot
don't know
Act,
if it
right.
was 7 or 10 minutes, things began to calm down.
It always
But then
is.
police officers would race
They don't.
off.
They don't give you
They'd be
anything
called
back.
on
They
a
take
radio and
shit
they would
and they
go
don't give it
a
back.
different direction. I suppose that might have been towards Crown Center to the east. But the end result was
They are.
just an
I don't
awful,
think that
awful scene at the
he's
end
not
of
going to
what
have
had
a
been
hard
such
time
a
getting out of this. I don't think.
joyous day. And now, of course, we know that there are multiple victims. We can only hope that they'll be okay.
Boy, you're right about that,
And he's
Neil. We
such
want
an
to
ass.
thank you.
I
And on
think he's
social
just going to
media,
walk in
there
and
is video now that is
I
out there that
think he's going
appears
to
to
take
show
and he's not going to show up until then. And
fans who were at the parade.
All
act
right,
like
if you
he's
are just joining us, we
popular
continue
or
to
some
cover this
shit.
breaking news story. Heartbreak out of Kansas City, Missouri, after a celebration there apparently turned deadly. CBS News can now confirm that there is at least one
right.
confirmed fatality from that shooting that took place following the celebratory parade of the Kansas City Chiefs.
That's right. And we just heard the reporter there who was on the scene give a very vivid description of what happened as events unfolded. He described the sound as fireworks, a series of gunshots. Police
Oh my
confirmed that
God.
shots were fired in a parking
Seriously,
garage
Pharmacy
near
Girl, you live
Union
there?
Station, where, according to one witness, 20 minutes earlier, you had the Kansas City Chiefs and their team and families
Oh my
celebrating their second consecutive Super Bowl win. And after those shots were fired, it was absolute pandemonium,
Was she
panic
scared?
and
Oh my
chaos,
God.
as you would imagine, in the center of a major
Oh,
city.
thank God.
Last year, 1 million people showed up at this location to celebrate their Super Bowl win. And so likely you had tens of
Weren't anywhere
thousands
down
of
there?
people, not just in the
Thank
vicinity,
God.
but lining the parade route as well. 2 armed people were taken into custody, according to Kansas City police, but now they've been tasked with
It is,
reconnecting
Mims.
what
It
may be
is.
children who've been
People don't stay
disconnected
in
from their
jail. They
parents
get
and
out,
some of
no
that
bond,
chaos. They have a
no cash
child
bonds.
reunification
All
area
this shit.
near the station you're looking at now. And while Lana just mentioned that at least 1 confirmed death has been reported by the Kansas City Fire Department, there are several others who are in
Yeah,
hospital
there's one
receiving
dead
treatment
pharmacy girl. What do you?
at this moment. So a frightening, horrific turn of events on what was meant to be a celebration.
Absolutely, and we have been
I don't
watching
know. I
all
feel
of those
worse.
images
I
as they've
feel a
been
lot
coming
less
in and
safe
hearing from eyewitnesses, as well as experts in law enforcement and homeland security. There is a little bit of good news in terms of the reunification. The Kansas City Police Department now saying that they are down to 1 reunification site. There had been multiple sites before.
Gosh.
They're also asking for the public's assistance, that eyewitnesses should report in on what they saw during these chaotic moments. Again, this was at the conclusion of the official event. There were, in addition to the Kansas City Chiefs and all of the luminaries that were there, the Missouri governor, Mike Parson, the First Lady, they were also in attendance. They have tweeted that they were there when the shots were fired, but that they are in fact
yes,
safe.
very much.
They're continuing to
I
try
know,
and
Sam,
parse out
right.
what the fact is
Just
from the
pandemonium,
fiction,
right?
what the rumors are,
That
and what we
shit's
now
scary.
have confirmed. And we do know that 1 person is dead at this moment. We are also expecting to get a press conference from the authorities there. And of course, as soon as that happens, we're going to bring it to you live.
At this point, we want to rejoin our local
My
affiliate,
dad used to say
KCTV,
that.
as they
He would-
continue to gather new
He would have the
information.
kids all out by the cows and stuff.
And
then he would just start running.
Okay, but we can't leave just
And of
yet
course, the
because
kids start running.
everybody's flooding the
And,
streets,
you know,
so the
he would
buses
laugh
couldn't leave
and
yet.
say, you know,
And so we all
just
just
start
kind of
running.
sat there
People
and,
think they
and
need to run.
waited
They'll just
until
start
we
running.
finally got the
It's
okay
true.
to get going.
And he did it.
So that was the
to
initial
people and
pops that you
silly,
were
but
talking
it
about
is
that
true.
led
We
to
just have
the apprehension of
pandemonium.
potentially 2 shooters involved. But then there was a secondary situation
Yeah, the
that emerged
lawlessness
just
is-
catty corner to
that's
Union
scary.
Station over at Western Crown Center, where there was some sort of disturbance there, and they were also asking everyone in the West
No, it's not
End
okay,
to
Rosa.
shelter
It's
in
not.
place. That has since
No,
been
people
cleared.
have-
Apparently,
people have to start
completely
having regard for
unrelated
life.
issue, but very
all there is to
clearly
it.
a scary situation for everyone. The almost probably 1 million people converging on downtown for this victory
know.
celebration, and to try to get all of those people out of downtown.
No, you want to
quickly,
know the
not an
stories
easy
that are
task.
coming out
Utter
of these
chaos.
people being
Absolute
released out
utter
of jail?
chaos, and you could see it on people's faces.
no
You could
bond
hear it
and
in their
stuff?
voices. We've seen fans
So
who were
many
hugging,
stories
embracing,
where-
and crying after this.
You know,
Just
women
glad
who
that they had made it out
had
of
him
this thing
arrested
unscathed.
and did
Now
not
we
bail
are
him out,
waiting
press
for Mayor
charges,
Quentin Lucas and Kansas City,
just for
Missouri
them to be
Police Chief
released and
Stacey
come and
Graves,
kill the woman.
who are going to be holding a news
I mean,
conference
there's
here
so
momentarily
much of it.
to try and explain, to try and walk us through what has happened. So we are waiting for that to happen. They are staging that area right now. We have several crews obviously on the scene right now, so we will be bringing that to you just as soon as it happens. But we're just like
Somebody just recently,
you
I can't
watching.
remember.
We're waiting for answers like you are, and reporting on something like this so chaotic, so many different moving pieces.
They killed somebody,
It's been,
and they
and
got
the other thing about
straight
this, Carolyn,
probation
is how
for
this
a
happened.
day.
To go from something
I heard it
that
on
was
Nancy
the
Grace because she was
culmination
pissed.
of such a joyous morning to then all of a sudden people are saying, wait a minute, is that fireworks or gunfire? And that was happening not all that far away from the stage where so many people were, and hundreds of thousands of people in that area.
Well, absolutely. Not to
Excuse
mention
me.
the players on the stage, the dignitaries on the stage. We're hearing now, we had heard from Missouri Governor Mike Parson. He, of course, took to the podium there momentarily to congratulate the Chiefs. He has since reported that he is okay. We've also now learned that Kansas Governor Laura Kelly was in attendance as well. She was told to evacuate, and she has now reported back that she is safely out of harm's way at this point. But many people
Look at all these people
around
that
there,
come across
right
the border,
in that area
even if
of
they
the
went to their
stage, when this initially
their
occurred. Again, just
their court
seconds
dates, their
before
court
2
dates are
o'clock
8 and
hit
10
is
years
when
out.
that gunfire
I
was
mean,
reported, and we have
seriously.
since learned
Don't even
8 to
fucking
10
bother.
people have been hurt in some way in this shooting. That does not mean that they were all shot, but 8 to 10 people injured in some way during this disturbance. And
And if
sadly,
they don't get
we
caught
are
coming
hearing
across,
that
you know
some
what they
of the
do? They
patients
get
were taken to
across and call
Children's Mercy,
911 on
which
themselves
confirms
because they don't want to miss out on
biggest
getting the check and the
fear
flight
that
and
there
all
were
kinds of
children
shit.
involved. But there were also
The
patients
home
taken
and
to
what?
University
They got
Health,
all kinds of
formerly
people
Truman Medical Center,
just
and
sleeping in
St.
Logan
Luke's
Airport.
Hospital as well.
All right,
What
our
kind
Shane
of
Finney
nonsense are
was
going
talking
on?
with a couple of people who saw what happened and heard this.
So when I was
Absolute
leaving,
crazy.
and I don't remember if my other friends were still with me at NORAD at the time because it kind of blurred.
It did.
But when we were heading west, trying to get back
Hey,
and away from
Cosmic.
it, we saw the police swarm a stairwell, and then we heard another pop from there, and that's when I was like, okay,
It
we're
is. Can you
gone.
believe that?
Similar situation.
Same, yes. I was on the probably to her right. Probably on her right side when everything was going on. And then so we kind of circled back, but then all of the people in FBI and police, they were all like, okay, everybody has to go that way towards Crown Center. And so everybody started going that way, and then everybody's trying to come back because everybody's parked over here. And now that's a crime scene. We can't
Can you
get in the
believe
parking
this?
garage. So everybody's
until it's
here
cleared up.
and stuck.
Because your cars are
Pharmacy
still
Girl
in
is your family and everybody.
And as
You
we
know where
mentioned,
everyone's
we
at?
had crews for the parade and for that rally
You wanna
station
come up on
all
panel?
down Grand, basically from the city market on down to Union Station. Along the way, we had Nijah Hood along the parade route as well. Nijah, what are you seeing at this point, and what did you hear at any point along the way?
Well, guys, it's really, it was a celebratory day turned tragic. We just spoke to multiple witnesses who were there at Union Station as the events unfolded. I just spoke to a family of about 5 or 6 people, one of whom was pregnant, and they are understandably very shaken. One of them was inside Union Station when the incident took place and steps away from the shooter. They told us that they were actually in the room right next to where the shooter was. They were told that the shooter was in the bathroom. They were locked up in the room next door trying to seek shelter. And the first thing they remember was people running and then chaos. They and other witnesses say that they were told by police to hop over a barricade and get away from the scene. I spoke to another witness who actually was inside of the nearby apartment complex, and she says she heard multiple gunshots, and she is traumatized because she actually saw the deceased bodies on the street. And so understandably, she was very emotional. It was hard for her to even speak to us, but just a lot of tragedy happening here outside of Union Station on what was supposed to be a very
They said there was more than one
and
incident
happy
down
day.
there.
And so truly a sad story. We are on the scene working to get you the latest information. We will continue to update you as we receive new information. Outside of Union Station, Nijah Hood, KCTV5.
All right, Nijah, thank you. And you're right about that. A truly tragic day. And we are learning of some news that we hoped we wouldn't have to report to you.
Yeah, we are hearing now one person is confirmed dead now, 14 in all hurt in this shooting after the parade, including 3 patients in critical condition, 5 in serious condition are the latest reports we're getting. Again, 1 fatality reported now from the scene outside of Union Station.
We've been praying for you.
All right, we've been watching KCTV there in Kansas City. We want to pull away from that to now bring you
We have
the
been
local
praying for you,
police
Cosmic,
update
for
from
all of
today's
you.
shooting where at least 1 person was
After I'm
killed.
done speaking, Police Chief Graves will give details on the incident that happened earlier today. A few things that I want to make sure we note at the outset. First, today, we had 600 Kansas City, Missouri Police Department officers, 250 from outside agencies. We went out today, like everyone in Kansas City, looking to have a celebration. That celebration was marred by a shooting today. And we recognize that there are some who are injured. We are praying for the safety of everyone. I've talked to a few different folks so far. One, we have spoken to the Kansas City Chiefs, who made clear that their prayers are with everyone who was at the parade today, everyone in Kansas City, and everyone who was touched by this incident. They also noted that their players, coaches, and staff are all accounted for at this point and safe. We, however, know know that this is a fluid situation, so all that we are sharing now may change as the hours go ahead. We've also received a call from the White House that offered all federal assistance in the investigation. We had federal agencies present today. We appreciate that, and certainly in the days ahead and the hours ahead, we will make sure we continue to do this work. I will say personally, first, a thank you to the women and men of law enforcement, to the women and men who work with the Kansas City Fire Department and our other agencies. When the shooting started, I, like many others, ran for safety. I saw a number of agencies, including the Kansas City Police Department, officers with guns drawn who were running towards danger. We thank them for that. As I was leaving the scene, I saw members of our Kansas City Fire Department administering aid to folks who were seriously injured without concern for the shootings and the challenges that were near them. This is absolutely a tragedy, the likes of which we would have never expected in Kansas City, and the likes of which we will remember for some time. However, I want to say thank you to those who are making sure that we are safe today, those who are investigating this incident, and those who will continue to make sure that those who committed these acts today are brought to justice. We'll come back for some questions at the end of the chief's comments, but now the police chief, Stacey Graves.
Chief Stacey Graves, Kansas City, Missouri Police Department. At the conclusion of the Chiefs rally today, there were shots fired on the west side of Union Station. Immediately, officers responded to the area, took 2 people into custody, and also immediately rendered life-sustaining aid to those victims. We're still gathering information on the number and the status of victims, but like I said, we know that one of the victims is deceased. We also know that officers ran towards danger. Officers were there to keep everyone safe. I'm angry at what happened today. The people who came to this celebration should expect a safe environment. We had over 800 law enforcement officers, Kansas City and other agencies, at the location to keep everyone safe. Because of bad actors, which were very few, this tragedy occurred, even in the presence of uniformed law enforcement officers, who again ran towards them and took them into custody. To the people who were injured in this tragedy, our hearts go out to you and your families. This investigation is just beginning, and we are working safely to clear all surrounding areas and businesses. This is still an active investigation. We will continue to keep you updated. We will keep you updated on Twitter and most likely a follow-up press availability. Did you have anything? No. One of our victims has been declared deceased. We have.
Well, that's loud. Oh, Cosmic, we definitely are behind you. We love you
We
too.
have up to 10 to 15 injured. Yes. Right now, we do not have an exact number of people who were victims of a gunshot wound. It could be upwards from 10 to 15 with one deceased. I do not have.
Snake, I heard there were a couple of different incidents, but I'm not sure if they know.
I do not believe that any of them were children.
Any law enforcement injured in this?
Nothing of note.
Chief, what prompted? What do you guys believe now prompted the shooting?
That is still under investigation. I myself was outside when I heard the shots fired. It is an ongoing investigation. It's going to take us a little bit to determine exactly what led up to the shooting. I will say though, we do have 2 suspects in custody.
There are circulating on social media that some fans may have helped contain one of those.
I have heard that as well. I have heard that fans got involved in the apprehension or the pursuit of one of the suspects. I cannot confirm that right now, but that is something that I have heard myself. Yes.
Snake, somebody said it was an altercation. I don't know though.
you had KCFD helping you.
Absolutely.
Your first day.
As soon as the rally concluded, there were shots fired on the west side of Union Station. Officers were on scene in the area. I know one of the suspects was immediately pursued on foot. Like I said, there's 2 suspects in custody. I have heard the information that was just requested. I will confirm or deny that. But after that, immediately officers began rendering life-sustaining aid, calling in fire, which is the fire department, to also assist those victims.
Do you know if there were more than 2 people taken into custody? Because we had 2 people, after you guys had made your announcement, there were 2 people in custody, 2 people live on our air being taken, handcuffed, put into vans. So can you talk about that and the process as this investigation continues?
I don't know exactly the 2 that you're talking about that your camera caught on video being loaded into a wagon. I don't know that, but I can tell you that in and around that scene, it is still active. Not active in necessarily threats, but it's a very active scene. We're still investigating. This is still early on. We still have parties that are walking into hospitals.
Do you know anything about the suspects in terms of where they're from? Are they from?
I do not know that, but that's something that I also will be finding out.
2 questions. We are hearing upwards of maybe 20 shots. Can you talk about the number that you've heard?
I'm hearing 10 to 15, possibly 15, with the one that is deceased.
And do you know anything about the timing? It seems odd that it's waited to the very end of the rally.
I don't have anything about, I can't give you an answer on the timing. I can just say that that's when it occurred, and we are investigating what led up to that. Maybe once we get some of those details, we'll know why that happened at that time, but right now it's still too new.
Chief, it's just one incident, multiple incidents that injured people.
That is something that is under investigation.
Mayor Lucas talked about how you were on the ground and you yourself had to run for safety. I understand we're still waiting on a timeline and trying to understand what exactly happened. But we were having a Super Bowl parade, and this is what the country is talking about now. What is your message to this city at a time like this?
I second the comments by the chief of police. I'm heartbroken. First of all, I'm praying for the victims and the families impacted. I start with them. I'm incredibly upset, disappointed. I was there with my wife. I was there with my mother. We never would have thought that we, along with
Can you imagine?
along with fans, hundreds of thousands of people,
And his mom
will be
there.
forced to run for our safety today. I think that I'll let the investigation shake out before coming to any further conclusions, but I think the initial response absolutely is anger. You know, we have done a number of these now, and this is a day that a lot of people look forward to, something they remember for a lifetime.
Right.
And what they shouldn't have to remember is the threat of gun violence, marring a day like this, injuring them and their families. This morning, I was actually thinking about bringing my child, as many people in Kansas City did. And I don't want us to have to, in our country, for every big event, think about a concern of being shot. As the chief
Any kind of violence.
we had a lot of
Any
law
kind.
enforcement officers there today. They did exceptional and outstanding work, and I will second that again. Because on your timeline point, I was inside of Union Station. We heard something. A number of us start running, and I see a stream of officers going the exact other direction, with guns drawn, ready to address danger. And that was the situation throughout. People who responded absolutely immediately. But I wish that we lived in a world where they wouldn't have to do that. I wish we live in a world where we wouldn't have to see incidents like that. But I'm as heartbroken as anybody. We will do a full and thorough investigation. I hope that we bring whoever this is to justice, and we will continue to try to make sure that we can be as safe as possible. However, when you have people who decide to bring guns to events, when you have people who are deciding to try to mar events, celebratory ones like this one, all of us start to become members of this club that none of us want to be a part of, which is those who experience mass shootings. I hope for Kansas City this is one of the last times we experience that. What's that? Sorry, go ahead.
In danger at any point?
It's actually best if more people do have guns, and then you can take out these people.
You know what?
These
think
people
we'll
don't
let the
follow laws
investigation
anyway.
Take a look at that. The police
So it
department
doesn't matter what
responded
you outlaw.
effectively, I think incredibly quickly, to make sure that people would be out of harm's harm's way. That being said, a number of us had to flee from a situation because we heard a sound of gunshots. So I'll let you answer your own question in terms of whether you think that's something that puts you in danger or not. In my view, anytime shots are nearby, you don't know where they're coming from, you don't know who's firing them and all of
Oh my
that.
God, what was
then
that?
perhaps there is a situation of danger. But
Thank you guys. We're gonna get back inside.
Can I ask a fire question?
How you handle that? You have a good guy with a gun.
Do you have a sense of how many, or are some of those also critical? We've covered that. We don't have that information.
I just have a fire question. Hold on. 10 to 15 is what we have. Potentially 15. One deceased. I don't have a condition on the other gunshot victims. Correct. It's correct.
We don't know how many.
One fire question.
No, I do not.
Because Chief Graves said that
We're going to have a lot of updates later, guys. We got to go inside and gather this information. I appreciate it.
What are the updates from Jake later?
Well, just look on Twitter. I just have one. I just have one. I just have one. Excuse me. I just have one thing to say. This is not Kansas City. I'm angered by what happened, but I want you to know that the Kansas City, Missouri Police Department and all the law enforcement officers that were there today, that were serving and protecting, did the best that they could, and I'm so proud of them that they ran into danger, getting 2 people into custody, and at the same time rendering life-sustaining aid to those victims. We were here for a safe celebration, and because of 2 bad actors or more, is why we're standing here today. We will recover as a city. My heart goes out to our victim who is deceased, but your police department stands ready, and we are invested in the safety and betterment of Kansas City. Thank you.
Don't get too carried away. Just had 3 people
Okay, follow the Twitter account.
die in a
All
backyard.
right. We have been listening to authorities in Kansas City provide an update on the shooting that took place in the area of the Chiefs Super Bowl victory parade. The police chief confirmed at least 1 person has been killed. 2 suspects are in custody. But Errol, the thing that popped out to me from that press conference was that she said, Police Chief Stacey Graves, I'm angry at what happened today. And we heard that echoed from Mayor Quinton Lucas, who said he thought about he was there with his wife and his mother, and he thought about bringing his kid. And he said, I
That's
don't
sad,
want for
man.
every
Can you
big
imagine you had
event
your mom
to
down there?
worry about being shot.
But that's such a real statement because so
Yeah.
many of us now do because of incidents like this. The police chief is angry. The mayor is upset. At least 1 person is dead. The police chief there also saying that between 10 and 15 people have been injured. It's
I'm not
unclear
really
exactly
impressed
how
with
many
that
of them
police chief,
were
honestly.
victim
Well, I
of
don't know.
gunshot wounds, but we heard them begin the press
When they had
conference
3
by
people
saying
die in a
you have
backyard and they don't
hundreds
ever
of
even
police
consider it
officers
a
and other
crime scene
officials
at all.
in the area of the parade at the
It's a little
time of the shooting. And they do
concerning.
now have, in their language, 2 suspects in custody who they believe triggered all of this. Let's not forget that you had such a crush of people that panic itself
At
could have
one
led to
point, it
injuries
said
and chaos and
there was
pain.
an
We want
altercation.
to jump on the phone now with Jeremiah Wilson. He's a
So
chief
just a
stag,
nut job with the
traveled
gun.
from
Clearly, it's a nut
Nebraska to
job
be
if
at
they're
the
going to
parade
just go
with his
shooting. But
7-year-old daughter, Jeremiah. How are you and your daughter
I
doing?
did hear
And what did you
that.
witness today?
We're doing okay. We're just kind of shaken up a little bit, and she's watching Bluey at the moment, just kind of trying to. She's autistic, so she doesn't really understand. She thought it was fireworks going on, but she got really scared when everybody started running. So
Oh, how
I
sad.
had to pick her up as soon as I recognized that they were gunshots, and we just started running with everybody.
We have this image from local police, an aerial shot of the most joyous moment. You had tens of thousands of people outside Union Station there in a crowd of red, a sea of red. Where were you in the crowd? And then where did you go when you realized something was wrong and you picked up your daughter to get out of the way?
So we were kind of up in the middle area. Probably, I think I know what shot you're talking about, but we were kind of off to the left in the middle when we heard the gunshots. And we ran up the hill, and once we started seeing everybody else run, because it was probably equivalent to maybe 4 or 5 city blocks, and you could definitely hear the pop, 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 and it sounded like I don't even know. I haven't been paying attention to the news enough, so I don't know what the hell went on, to be honest with you. I just know we got the hell out of there.
I'm looking on,
I also have little ones.
trying to
who
find
enjoy Bluey.
the,
How will you explain what happened to your daughter?
hello, Mrs. Good Trouble.
You know, it makes me, I don't get to do, I'm a single dad, so.
Exactly
I've
right,
been raising my
Mrs.
daughter since she was
That's exactly what I was
knee-high
thinking
grasshopper,
earlier.
since she was about 2
Yes.
months old. And
It's pure and
getting out
simple
and doing
hatefulness.
things, you know,
It
with
is.
work and everything else makes it really
I
difficult
agree
to be able to
100%.
have those special moments with her.
People
that
they
I'd
don't
like to
even
be able
know.
to have. And I took her out of school today to
That's what I
go
say.
down to this
I guarantee,
parade
I
and
bet you
for us
that
to
so
have
many
some time
people
together and
actually
create some memories around,
would even like
you
each
know,
other,
just
you know?
some things that I enjoy and
Or
some
maybe
things
not,
that
but even, does
she
it even
enjoys.
matter?
And
Does
she
it
made a
actually
lot of
matter
friends there at the very
if you
beginning.
disagree with somebody? What
For it
damn
to end
difference is
like,
it?
for it to end like that was just sad. I mean, it's.
I agree 100%.
I can't even put it into words. I really haven't had time to process a whole lot.
Jeremiah, we so appreciate you jumping on the phone and speaking with us, because so many people had an experience like yours today there in Kansas City. You still
Yep, and
sound
it's
shaken
disgusting.
from
People
what
who
you've
want
been
to be
through. I just
ugly
want
for
to share with
no
our
damn
viewers
reason.
that CBS News can now
It's really
report
gross.
that this shooting appears to be criminally related and potentially the result of an argument or dispute that turned violent. So according to our police sources, there's no indication that this is terrorism related. But for a single dad like yourself, who drives, I'm imagining, maybe you flew from Nebraska with your daughter to do something special.
I'm
Like so
wondering,
many
Pharmacy
people came from
Girl,
the region just to be a
I'm
part of
looking
this joy
for,
today. What's your response to the news that this
wait,
may have
let's,
just been an argument turned violent?
You know, there's back in my day, we used to pick up our hands and ball them up into fists, and we fought it out that way. And nobody seems to handle anything like, you know, like they
oh
used
wait,
to
I
back in
think
the
I got
day.
it,
And
sorry.
in this day and age, everybody wants to pick up weapons and, you know, figure out what the easiest way to hurt somebody the most is. And unfortunately, that's guns. And it's a quick way for little kids to
I'm trying to get the
do what
calls
they're
that came
doing
in.
and cause these problems. And it's not even just kids. It's people that are being ignorant, that don't want to fight. They don't want to box it out. They don't want to duke it out. They want to sit there and pick up weapons and cause the most catastrophe.
Right,
that
yeah,
they
that's
can
what we were
without
talking, that's
realizing
what
that
Snake and I were saying
20 years
earlier.
from now, when
You
they're
know,
sitting in a
just
jail cell, they're
pandemonium
going to
in
realize,
crowds like
oh,
that,
I
yeah.
messed up. But it's too late. You already did what you did.
Well, it sounds like you did everything you could
Yeah,
to keep
Gabi,
your
I
daughter
know.
safe. How
You were
did you
talking
get
about
away?
being nervous just at Costco.
Ran, took cover.
Easy roll,
Ran
Jules.
some more. There were
Did you pick
cars
her up?
parked all over.
Were you carrying
What's
your
that?
daughter?
Yeah, I was carrying her for the most part. Yeah, she's not a light package.
Well, Jeremiah
No,
Wilson.
so oh, go ahead.
No, I just want to make sure we give you time to share your story. It's clear that you know this is a traumatizing incident.
I'm trying to
Thank
see
you
if
for
I can
sharing
get
with
the
us,
calls that came
what
in.
you remember, what you saw, and what you did to keep your daughter safe. Thank you for joining us today.
You said the families aren't okay?
No, I'm thanking you for sharing with us that you and your daughter are okay. It sounds like.
Is everybody else okay? That's what I want to know.
Unfortunately, Jeremiah, there is a report of one fatality. We don't know anything about who that person was, but we do know that there were somewhere between 10 to 15 people who were injured. And again, we don't know if those people were injured as a result of the shooting or the crush of the crowd afterwards. But you're so kind to care about others. As you were starting to describe the scene as you picked up your daughter and were trying to run with her, and I know 7 years old, it can be heavy. Jeremiah, we just want to thank you for sharing your story.
Absolutely. I appreciate you guys, and hopefully everybody, everybody else is okay. Man.
Thank you,
Okay,
Jeremiah.
there's no kids. Is there any kids? Can you tell me that?
Yeah, not as far as we know, according to police from their most recent press update. But
Good.
thank you,
Good.
Jeremiah, for caring as
Yeah.
well. We do now want to bring in Sam Vinograd, a CBS News contributor, former Assistant Secretary for Counterterrorism, Threat Prevention and Law Enforcement Policy for the U.S. Department of Homeland Security. Sam, I'm moved by the conversation we just had with a single father there trying to just have fun with his daughter and could have been one of the victims today. We have this development that it appears the shooting appears to have stemmed from an argument. What can you tell us about that piece of this puzzle and how it helps explain what we all witnessed?
Well, Errol, regardless of the motivation,
Okay,
whether
you guys, I
criminal or
found
terrorism related, we relearned a brutal lesson today.
I found
and
where
that
everything is
that
happening.
law enforcement alone
The
cannot mitigate the gun
scanner
epidemic in this
report,
country. You think
right
about
where all
this
this is
parade,
happening on
there are over
Pershing.
800
You want to hear that?
dedicated law enforcement officials at this parade. They engaged in extensive planning, extensive drills, and did everything in their power to prevent an incident like this.
We can come back to that. I don't know if it is or not. I feel like it's not. I don't know. Missouri, I think, is pretty conservative. I don't know. Well, I don't know for sure. Did someone else say it too? That's what they were saying. Yeah, that there was an altercation. Well, I don't know. There's a Kansas City, Missouri, and a Kansas City, Kansas. I think this is Missouri. Kansas is pretty conservative too, I think. You guys, I don't know. I know. 1 dead so far, legs. This is a scanner that's going on right down there.
Morning, that's where the vans will arrive to pick everybody up to transport them back. 602 to all divisions. We're beginning to demobilize. Have all your golf carts and equipment returned to the west side of Union Station where we had the briefing this morning. That's where the vans will arrive to transport everybody back. Hey, let's do.
Go for operations.
819.
831, I'm also available from Pershing and Maine. They're saying they need someone by the west stage, up there by Union Station. Yes.
Yeah, that's
I have
right.
multiple GMAT people that I believe were dropped off at Maine. The GMAT tent, and I think they're waiting on the east side. Can you send one of the vans over there to take them back?
Who's taking west stage? What are your number, sorry?
Copy that. We can make that happen. We'll start on the west side, and then we'll just let those vans know that we do have members waiting on the east side to be picked up as well.
Thank you. Go ahead for 6900.
Can you copy my phone number down to text me the locations that your officers are at so we can give them relief?
852, I'm available from Pershing and Broadway.
You guys can hear this, right?
Copy. Rally personnel, did you copy that? There was a briefing this morning on the west side behind Union Station where the golf carts were. You could either be picked up there, and then they'll send the vans around to try to pick up people on the east side.
Just stand by at Pershing, just west of Pershing and Grand.
Copy. So your officers, they don't need relief?
And 851's not needed down here at this vehicular on Meyer. 851's available.
Okay, anybody left, just start heading towards Pershing and Grand.
Oh, no problem. Thanks,
Engine
Queen.
quarters.
Don't worry.
What do you need, Pershing and Grand?
And Broadway, they need relief.
Just standing by for any other assignments.
Traffic crews, copy.
Copy. There's several of us here.
Was that a traffic assignment? 858. I am no longer needed down here. Meyer and Prospect, where do you need me at?
Do you just stand by Pershing and Broadway?
Oh, really,
Just
Frazzled?
a symbol
Oh,
of
nice.
Pershing and Grand to the west.
Well, good. I'm glad.
Copy. I'll send a couple crews that way.
And does anybody else need help on route security before we start cutting some of these people loose? Again, any route security or crime scene security?
That's what I said, Legs. This is what this today. You know what? If it's not drugs, it's guns. It's no
5120.
regard for
I'm
humanity.
going to need one for crime scene security.
Too much ugliness.
He's
period.
on a little small crime scene
That's
in
the way I
parking
see it.
lot just to the east of Broadway.
No regard, no
on
humanity.
Pershing. 6140 to CP. Copy.
You have YouTubers like Mrs. Gatrell said showing
761, go ahead.
homes. They don't even know them.
Yes, 16th and Grand, helping 765.
For your information, I believe 6142 is at Children's Mercy, sitting on a victim.
Yep, I am right here at Truman and Grand.
Affirmative.
Copy. We'll send them their way.
If you run up to these barricade people and tell them stop, slide them open, going across. We're at 17th Street now.
For calling, I can't copy you.
I apologize. I think my battery is about dead. ALS2 returning to Eastwood.
This has the CP.
We have an available traffic crew that can go over to the Pershing and Broadway area. They're requesting some assistance over there. Just give me the phone number and I'll call you.
3290967. Gosh.
Dispatch from Chief 9, you can go ahead and release both mutual aid companies with our things.
On the other channel, they were asking for either relief or help over there. Does everything look good on lockdown?
Affirmative. Copy. And can you copy a number for the FBI? They want somebody to call them. Go ahead.
The FBI wants someone to call them.
I feel 830 over there too.
816-512-8346. 512-8346. Officer Stevens. Copy. And what's your radio number? I don't have you logged in.
Please tell me if Pumper 4.
What nut job is going to call that
go back
number
home.
now?
Please tell me if Pumper 4, you can go back home. Please tell Pumper
That's
4.
bad information for somebody like
I'm
Michelle.
CP. 5774 is my serial.
329 is out. JJC with what?
Can you radio number?
329.
Copy.
1190 squad, 310-8.
Go ahead.
Can I get a phone number for area command for, I think it's 6920?
Anyone provide the number? Let me know when you're ready.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Chief South, this is Rally Operations. I got someone coming your way, buddy.
It's 816-341-4344. 816-341-4344.
Copy that. Thank you. Medical Operations. This is Rally Operations.
Can you get me a center zone car to relieve an officer at Children's Mercy when you're ready? Copy.
Go for medical.
I can tell them to put it on list. They're blacked out.
CJC from Independence, Pumper 9.
Yeah, I assume so. Yeah, radio 6122 needs to be relieved when you have somebody.
Yeah, we're hoping to get a van over there too if we have personnel that needs to be picked up. So, just tell them to hang out.
Right legs. Yep. That's
Command
what
is
I
aware.
told you.
Can I
One
get their
confirmed
information?
dead.
I don't even have them logged in.
Yes, I will
Into
get back with
15
you.
injured.
Thank you.
Yeah, did I understand right? We're clear.
I don't know, Sicilian. It did
Copy
sound.
that. I think
Did you hear
some
that
of the
too?
KCFE personnel just left in a golf cart to go somewhere, and so
sounded
right
like-
now I've just got a bunch of DMAT folks over
One of the
here.
reporters said
Sorry.
there were two different
No
incidents.
problem. 818 to CP.
Over
Copy. I didn't want to have to walk all the way down here to the west, so
where I
I
was understanding that.
got him coming your way. If you don't see him here shortly, let me know.
But I think in chaos, they don't really know
Remind them.
for sure. I don't know.
Independence number 9 from Chief 9, you can be in service. Thank you.
You'd hope not.
Copy
Come
that.
on, what? You know what?
Go
It's
ahead,
such an
AC.
awesome feeling when your team wins,
Copy. Thank you. You're welcome.
kind of thing. Like, come on.
No reason for me to be in between 704 and 838, so I'm repositioning. Do you have a new location for me?
None right now.
Is there an officer that
How about Lost Keys?
I can't wait for the Phoenix Suns to win Sunday. I cannot wait for that.
Okay, am I hanging tight around Pershing and Broadway then? Anyone know anything about Lost Keys? We found them.
Say again about Lost Keys. That's a citizen who was asking us. Reggie, this is Lostman.
I guess officer lost their keys.
Okay, now they're looking for lost keys.
Do we know about an officer losing their keys?
Copy, thank you.
Probably we're going to have to go north or south all the way to 29.
I'm in the U Drive, Lostman.
Is that for a personal car or for a KCPD vehicle? It's Simply's vehicle.
If I transfer to you, Centerpoint PD following.
Copy. I think North Patrol is missing a key for site 989, if that's the one.
If I transporting to Centerpoint.
Accurate.
6180, go ahead. 1205 Southeast 18th Street.
Somebody give the stage hands permission to start disassembling the stage.
845 to 704. 845 to 704.
It's kind of hard to understand this, right?
Some
stuff isn't.
to TAC 3.
Good.
We're trying to get a hold of Investigations Bureau first, so stand by on that, please.
Okay, because they're definitely taking it down right now.
1205.
Robert 24 responding.
Number 24 responding.
Yes, the main stage.
704 to 845, go ahead.
Stage 5 service.
Stage 5 in service.
Straight 511. Check 5 responding.
This is Mills at the ELC. I believe that whole area is going to be a crime scene. I don't know that they should be there, but I'd ask them to stop until investigation says something otherwise.
23 responding.
Okay, you see me standing here. I'm just south of you. Is this where you want to be at?
Copy.
Station 10 responding.
Station 10 responding.
Yes, he is.
That's good that they are considering that a crime scene.
50-year-old special needs male. Does somebody have him?
His group just called and is trying to find out where he is.
Okay, we may have some media folks that are coming out and some other people. Those apartments, their parking area, and it's right there by where you're at, 845. So they'll be coming and going from there.
All units responding. 5816 East 14th Street. This was called in by a retired firefighter. You've got a hydrant that is just to the east of the
Okay, let's go check back in with the news.
Remember for some time.
Talking about trying to get mom over one of those would not be easy for any of us.
No. And especially when you have other people running and screaming and you don't know what's happening. And then was that a gunshot I heard?
Yeah.
It's we continue to hear from so many people who were there on the ground who were so
That would definitely be terrifying if you had your
checking back in with our crews on the ground and with so
imagine you
many
had your wife and your mother down there.
may now be home and have
Shit,
tuned
thank
into
God his kids weren't
255
there.
to figure out what happened during that championship celebration. Our Grace Smith has been covering the parade since it started. Grace, tell us where you are now and what you've seen throughout this tumultuous day.
Wow.
Yeah, Brad, currently I am at Children's Mercy Hospital where we know patients are being treated, young patients. However, police chief did tell us that she believes that no children were shot, but we know young patients are being treated here, injured somehow during the parade. And we also know University Health is currently treating 12 patients, 4 with gunshot wounds. The other 8 suffered from other injuries during the parade. And we also know KCFD rushed 10 of the injured people to University Health, including the victim who died. And we also know other local hospitals are treating patients, and we are working to get those answers, those numbers to you shortly. But this is just tragic. So many injured people from what was supposed to be a fun day, guys.
Boy,
Wow.
you're right about that. Grace,
Pharmacy
thank
Girl
you.
sent me some pictures of the
Brian
parade.
Hennessy also caught up with some witnesses who are right there near the stage at the time. Let's listen in. Oh, we'll get to that here momentarily. But again, we are confirming now, if you're just now tuning in, potentially just now getting home from the parade and from the rally, thankful that you are home because chaos broke out in front of the stage, southwest corner of the stage there in front of Union Station, just as the rally was ending. And now we are confirming that 1 person is dead and potentially up to 15 people are hurt. Grace was saying some of them, children, not shot, but injured somehow in the chaos that happened after the shooting. And then, you know, others very critically injured, 3 critical, in fact, and 5 have what is considered serious injuries.
Yeah, I
Did you
saw
know
that. I saw that Pharmacy Girl.
Mayor Quentin Lucas and
Oh, let's see what's this.
Hello, everyone. I'm Major Garrett in Washington. We are continuing to follow the breaking news out of Kansas City, Missouri, where 1 person has been killed and several others wounded in a shooting near the Kansas City Chiefs football team's championship Super Bowl parade. At least 10 people were taken to hospitals in the area. Kansas City police say that 2 suspects have been detained and remain in custody. Officials say that was possibly the shooting, that is, related to an argument that turned violent. The shooting, authorities now say, does not appear to be related to terrorism or extremism, at least in terms of motives. I want to bring in now Sam Vinograd. Sam is a CBS News contributor and former Assistant Secretary for Counterterrorism, Threat Prevention, and Law Enforcement Policy for the U.S. Department of Homeland Security. Sam, there is lots to go over here, but your big picture thoughts on what we have seen unfolding. And one thing it bears pointing out, we can now add Super Bowl celebratory parades to the places in America once assumed safe from gun violence that now can no longer be assumed to be safe from gun violence.
Major, I've lost count of how many mass shootings I've responded to, and the lesson is very clear. Nowhere is safe from gun violence at this point, and that's not because law enforcement is not doing everything possible to safeguard the American people. In this case, we look at this parade, over 800 law enforcement personnel from a range of federal entities and otherwise, and still what appears to be a personal dispute turned violent and hurt so many victims.
And let's talk about this kind of event. You know, because of your experience, how Kansas City Police and its cooperative other agencies in the area planned for this. It's an outdoor event. It's the culmination of a parade. It has a central location, but it's not a place where magnetometers can be deployed. You have to assume and you hope as a planning law enforcement entity that people are not going to break out their weapons and start shooting one another. But you have to assume that is at least a possibility. Therefore, then you have to intervene and then try to get people safely out. Complex situation.
Complex situation. I will say that law enforcement personnel try to plan for a variety of contingencies, including a dispute that breaks out at a mass entity event like a parade. But unfortunately, there's just too many unknown circumstances that can unfold, like this one. So while law enforcement more than likely tried to prepare for a situation like this,
Well, of course they
cover
did.
every
Shut
single
up.
circumstance
This
that
is
can break
stupid.
out. So, for example, in this case, if a shooting breaks out in a parking garage,
This is completely
you
asinine.
can't account for exactly how people are
No,
going
they just want to
through what
take this
underlying
and
health
go all
conditions
over
people
about
may
the
have
gun.
as they're trying to escape from violence. And that's where you start seeing more casualties, more psychological
How
trauma,
come
and
that we see a
ultimately
lot more
more of a
casualties
catastrophe for the
for
community.
Some basics of this
with
event. The crowd
fentanyl
estimated around 1
and
million.
heroin and all this shit
Dignitaries there, the mayor of
and
Kansas
anything?
City, Quentin Lucas, the governor of Missouri, Mike Parsons, and his wife, all of the Kansas City Chiefs players,
I
personnel,
don't think I can
all of them
listen
escaped
to
safely. But as
Major,
the mayor
whatever
said
his
in the
name
first
is.
press
What's that
conference, and I
idiot's
want to let
name?
our audience
Major
know,
what?
6 o'clock Eastern time, there is scheduled to be another update from
Major
local authorities in
douchebag.
Kansas City. We will, of course, bring that to you live.
This idiot.
But the
right
mayor
here.
said he had to run, felt
I
in
am
danger.
sick of it too.
Some of those who are covering the event
Major
for the
Garrett,
NFL
that's
Network
right.
have put on social media that they
I don't
ducked and covered underneath the
He
stage.
doesn't have great hair. And you know
Lots
what?
of people ran pell-mell in various different directions. Among the injured, maybe those not shot.
45-year-old
but
man
injured
that lives at
fleeing.
home.
All of this goes
He's a
to
weirdo.
the very nature of panic that justifiably ensues when gunshots break out in a crowded area.
Most certainly. And I will say
What's
that for a
that?
situation like a Super Bowl parade, there are various different security perimeters
Lynn, what
that
are
are
you
set up
talking about?
based upon proximity to VIPs.
That's happening all over the
itself.
place. It's
So, for
called no
example,
cash
while a
bail,
parking
no
garage
cash
is, of
bond,
course, associated with the parade, there may
no
have
cash
been
bail.
different security
Right.
protocols
No cash
in
bail.
place for that particular
And
area. Now,
it's
inspection, looking for
they're
people
just
with
letting
guns,
people out of jail.
pat-downs, non-intrusive inspection techniques are
It's a
used
fact.
for certain
It's
mass
happening
density
big. It's
events. I
really
don't know if
bad.
they were in place for
It's
any of
bad.
the perimeters here, but this did happen seemingly on the margins of the parade, but close enough that there were a variety of individuals nearby.
So those
I don't want to hear these
in the
people right
audience
here because
who
they're
may
pissing me off.
watch crime shows or
This
watch
guy's a
a
fucking
spy
douche.
movie or two might know the term eyes on for that area nearest Union Station where the dignitaries are. Would you assume in the planning? We don't know, and I'm not asking you to.
Yeah, let me go somewhere else. I don't want to hear what he's saying.
Behind this, if it was just an argument, tranquil, thinking and praying for so many people at this parade. We are awaiting a press conference coming up in just a little bit. I do want to, though, bring into the conversation one more time as we're hearing from different experts, law enforcement that have spent decades of service working.
They are
in
so
various
no, they're so
areas
dumb.
around the country. But of course, this we're going to bring in right
But one
now.
thing, this is what's so
Ken
stupid.
Graves,
This is the one thing I
retired
can't
FBI
understand.
special.
When you always
Thank
want to
so
talk
much
about
for joining us here on Live
outlawing
National Watch. We appreciate
guns,
your time.
when people
As
go and
always, of
shoot
course, there's a
people,
very
that's
difficult
not
scene right now in Kansas
that's not
City.
legal.
Just take me back
It's against the
through
law
what you saw
already.
over the last few hours. What's
They
the biggest
clearly are not
takeaway for
fucking
you?
worried about the law.
Hi, Andy. Glad to
It
be
doesn't
with
make a
you.
damn bit of
So
sense.
this shows that when
You
you
have
have a
worse gun
major
violence
event
in
like this
Chicago than
here,
anywhere
and you
else
plan for
in
that
this
major
country,
event,
and
you
they
can't
have the
be
strongest
ready
gun
for
laws
every
in the
situation
country.
that occurs.
Just
When
fucking
they
stop
were
it.
having this celebration here, this parade to celebrate the victory
Exactly,
of the
Mrs. Good
Kansas
Trouble.
City
Thank you
Chiefs,
very much.
no one going to that
Yep.
parade imagined they
That
were going to
psycho
be
ran
going
his
there
car through there.
for a mass shooting
Exactly right.
taking place
See,
here.
it's about
Law
having some
enforcement,
kind of
however,
regard for
had
life.
plans. They
Period.
were running this
These people
event
don't care
with
about
an
life.
incident command where they were planning for contingencies like this. And you notice that when the event occurred, you had
And I know
lots of
there's a
law
lot of,
enforcement there,
you know,
and they
a lot
ran
of it
towards the
is
sound
mental.
of gunfire. They ran towards the threat. And they immediately
It's
got
not.
to
You're
the
right. It's
threat,
absolutely not
and
just
they
guns.
arrested
Drugs
the
are killing
shooters in
people
this case.
faster than
So
shit.
again, this was an unexpected event. However, by
We don't
planning
talk
for
about
this kind
that.
of situation, law enforcement is prepared
Oh, the
to
media is
surge
stupid.
towards the threat and to
They
handle
are
the threat.
completely stupid.
Yeah, and certainly
I can't.
that's
I don't even
exactly
watch
what
them
we watch
anymore.
because the parade kind of goes through Kansas City. They're on buses, they're on the street, all
I
these
already know
players
what's
and
going on
coaches,
because I
and
don't
then they
watch the
get to
news.
this
They irritate
kind of
the shit
central
out of me.
localized area, which is the Union Square area where they held this rally. The players making speeches, the mascot, the band,
You know what people
the
never
cheerleaders
hear
on the
about
stage, and this was happening
in all
several
these
minutes after. And I
incidents?
do want to put up
Do you guys
this
remember years
image
ago
that
when
these images that you were
Gabby
talking about. Of
Giffords,
course, we wanted to make sure viewer discretion is
a
advised because this could be very difficult
congresswoman
for some people
in
to watch. But
Arizona,
as you watch this,
she
Ken,
was
maybe what's
shot
going through
by
your
a
mind,
guy
maybe
that
what's going
just
through
started
the
shooting
law
people at
enforcement's minds as
Safeway.
they kind of
Well,
rush
you know
toward
what?
this
Nobody
Union Square
died
area.
in that incident
So you notice
because
that
guess
law
what? There was a
enforcement is going
responsible gun
towards the sound
owner
of gunfire.
there
They're
and took
going
the guy out.
towards the threat here.
Put
With
a stop to it.
active shooter,
That's what happened.
you wait until you have enough personnel to be able to handle the situation. In
That's
this
what you
case, there
need
was
whenever you
plenty of
got
law enforcement
shit
there,
like this going
and
on. You
so
need
they
somebody.
immediately respond towards the active shooter itself. You have people who are not law
Yeah, they
enforcement
are.
who are trying to flee
Yeah, so
from
they're not
the
going to say anything
situation,
about
get
all the
away
drugs.
from the threat here. But you see
Remember
here
Happy Camp? There was
large
a
surge of law
responsible
enforcement
gun
here
owner that
going towards the threat. This
a
is the way
citizen
that law
controlled that
enforcement is
situation.
supposed to respond to an active shooter like this.
Bro, I've been wondering what's happening to you. Where have you been?
Into the area to handle the threat. Now, at this
I
point,
agree with what you're
we
saying.
do not know if this shooting
Scary
was
shit going on.
a shooting that occurred due to events around the Kansas City Chiefs
Right.
celebration,
There's
or
lots
if
of
this
ways
just
to
happened
hurt
to be
people.
a shooting that occurred
Lots of ways.
on the periphery of this celebration,
I'm
and
scared of
that
people
it may
driving that
very
are on
well
their
have
damn
nothing
phones
to
all the
do
time.
with the celebration itself at all. That's what the investigation will show. You've
Well,
got
where
the
have you
arrest of
been?
the individuals who were
We've
engaged
been
in the
wondering
shooting.
about you.
You've got the victims being taken to hospitals. You've got a crime scene, and you have people that have to be interviewed that were in the vicinity that can give information about what they saw. So there's a lot of moving parts here, but what we're seeing on the screen right now is the initial surge to handle
I'm
the
seeing a
threat.
bunch of ignorant shit.
Then after that happens, a lot of other things have to happen, and these will continue
Well, we've been
happening
thinking about you,
throughout the
Ro.
night and into tomorrow. So there's a lot of different moving parts to this investigation.
Yeah, and you see a lot of different
100%.
various law enforcement
100%.
entities there kind of on hand, including some people potentially in civilian, just wearing
I
different
can't
clothes
either,
there, potentially
and I
undercover there,
can't.
making sure
It
everyone's safe.
irritates the
I
shit
do
out
have
of
to
me.
ask you because last year there was a parade as well for the Chiefs. They had 1 million people, and you imagine there's probably going to be about similar
We've been
people.
worried
You have people
about you.
trying to leave Union Square.
It
as well
is.
as
It
people
is.
running.
It
How
is
much of your
planned.
training is that to kind of discern who is a threat and who is not a
Never let
threat?
a
Because there are just so many people
catastrophe
also
go to
hearing
waste.
gunfire and they potentially try to get out. How much is the training focused on
Oh, good. We love you too,
analyzing
bro.
who's a threat and who's not a threat?
So there's a lot of chaos in an event like this here, and when you're moving into an
Who's
area
this fool? I don't
rapidly
know if
like
there's
this,
any news I
you
can
have
watch.
to look for what the threat could be. You look towards hands, you look towards movement. You are trying to find out who might be armed, who might be a threat at the time. So the initial search here by law enforcement, they have to have their heads on swivels, looking and trying to discern who are
He's speaking the obvious,
and
right?
who are the victims.
Right.
And so when a situation like this occurs, there's always the possibility that you might have blue on blue type events where law enforcement might be engaging law enforcement. That didn't happen in this situation, by the way. In this situation,
Right. So why are you even talking about it?
threat, and they identified the shooters. And the
I'm going to
shooters
try to
were
find something else to listen to. I
Now,
can't take this shit.
during the press conference, the chief said that she had heard that some of the fans took part in the capture of one of the shooters. And so you had other people there in the
Oh,
vicinity
Lord.
that saw what was going on, that directed law enforcement towards the threat, but also got involved in the arrest itself. And so, again, this is a very, very fluid situation, a very situation that a lot of things could happen. And fortunately, it was quickly gotten under control.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, blue on blue, potentially police on police. And of course, that also in the press conference that they don't believe any law enforcement are amongst those injured, nor any children. And I do want to ask you about that. And of course, there may be video circulating on social media. We don't know if it's accurate or not, but someone did ask the police about potentially people helping detain one of those suspects. Have you ever heard of that before? And obviously, with an individual that is potentially armed and dangerous, you don't really want civilians stepping in to try to assist police as well. But maybe have you heard of anything like that before happening?
I think you do want
Yes,
civilians to step
there
in.
have been situations in the past where the public has rendered assistance to law enforcement to help capture a person fleeing from the area. It does happen, but it is a dangerous situation to do because these are armed individuals who have just gotten done shooting a number of people and are fleeing from the situation there. And so there is risk involved. But nonetheless, in this case, it sounds like the public assisted law enforcement in rendering the capture of at least one of the shooters.
Yeah, that is.
I can't listen to that fool either. I found something else to watch. I can't listen to these idiots. No, you shouldn't. Nobody should, bro. Just for this reason right here. This is why.
police presence here. Here's the irony. I sat and I looked around, and anytime you go to a large gathering anymore, that's in the back of your head. That's the reality of the world we live in. But I looked at law enforcement everywhere around us, and I felt safe, Kevin. I felt safe on that stage. The whole event had gone off, and it was over. It was over, and we were talking about it and how wonderful it was. And then just like that, it was that fast. And even with that many,
They already had a press conference, Queen. We watched it.
Fabulous, and did run immediately to danger. It still happened.
And even at this hour, I mean, some hours after the end of that celebration, and then
The mayor said he ran with his wife and his mom.
Police officers here
And
just trying
the
to
chief of
assess
police
exactly
is
what's
police
happening
is
and what
pissed
has
off.
happened as folks are at the hospitals recovering.
1
We
dead,
do know
10
at
to
least one
15
person has
injured.
died, and we have a few others that are in critical condition.
I hate to sound cliche, but truly, I mean, we are praying for you. Even in the media, we are thinking of you. Those of you who were injured, who were scared, we're right there with you. At least in terms of being scared. But thinking of those families who their lives will be forever changed after this experience. A quick note: if you left belongings,
Yeah, they
inside
will
there,
have another
they
one
put you in
later.
the media back
I
there
don't
quite a
know
bit.
when
It's
though.
not just us. All of the stations here in town, and they're telling people if you come down here, it's going to be some time before they let anyone back in there to gather any belongings.
Yeah, we actually have some belongings.
Yeah,
back
I'm big
there
on
of our
staying
own.
home
They
too.
told us just take what you need.
Happy.
So we took a few of our bags just so that we can give you the latest and up-to-date reports as we learn more information. But we do have things stuck in that maybe hours, if not days, until we're able to gather our belongings here.
And just on a personal note, just a shout out to our crews, and especially we have, we always joke you and I are kind of the old veterans of the newsroom, but we had some young reporters who, and I'm gonna get choked up again, who were scared and they were worried about their families, and they went out. They went out to do their jobs, and I'm so proud of them. Daniela Leon walked by, and Gian, and Abby, and Mackenzie, and even when it was a
I
scary
know,
situation,
Bobby.
they jumped in and did their jobs too. So to all of
Sorry.
you, we're so proud of you, and we're proud you're part of our team.
Yeah, 41, we truly are a
I
family,
appreciate you
but
guys
today,
hanging out
Kansas
with me
City,
for all this
we all are a
craziness.
family standing strong as we grieve the loss, as we grieve the people who are recovering at hospitals. We pray for their recovery, and we're just wrapping our arms around Kansas City today.
Absolutely. Well, we don't have any new information to report at this time other than it's a very active scene. They're still investigating. So Kevin and Cameron and Dia, it's been a long day. Thank you for holding down the fort there and passing along that information in real time.
Oh,
We've been
thank you,
following you
Ro.
on
You're
Twitter
so
and social
sweet.
media and work emails as well. And we appreciate the work all of you are doing back in the studio too.
All right, thank you guys.
That trial was about to put me to sleep. I could not
Caitlin, you
take
take
much
care of
more.
yourselves out there.
I don't know how the
We're trying to bring
jury's
you
getting
again as
anything
many
out of it.
updates as we can. We've gotten the latest update from University
Oh,
Health.
thank
They
you,
have 8
Ro.
gunshot victims.
Yes,
Two of
happy
them are in critical
Valentine's Day to
condition
you
right now.
too.
That's a level 1 trauma unit in this city. So they're doing a lot of work out here, just trying to make sure that they're treating the victims and bringing information. We're awaiting that press conference in about 15 minutes as
Yeah,
well.
and just to recap here, Police Chief Stacey Graves saying
Oh my
10
God.
to 15 people possibly shot. We know several of those people are already at the hospital. One person has died. in
Right.
all
What
this.
is he going to do about
Now,
it?
what we don't know yet, how old were these people? Who are
Nothing.
these people? I
He
think
doesn't
those are
even
the
know what the
stories that
hell
we're going to
damn
find
day
out
a week
soon.
day
As
it
soon as
is.
these people have been identified. But again, we've got about 15 minutes or so before the police give us another update here. And I know people want answers.
A lot of us do.
Cinema
A lot of us
Shogun
do.
had
And,
another.
I'm getting so many messages from people in real time sitting here from families who have EMTs
Had
that are rushing
another
to hospitals where they work. They had
video
the day
come out.
off. They were enjoying the parade, enjoying Valentine's Day with their families and friends. And then they have to staff and man all of these ambulances we saw flooding into Union Station earlier today, for all the people who had to rush away. Just
Hey,
seeing
Todd.
so many messages of those first responders.
See this nonsense?
Who had to be out there in a moment that was very tense, very critical. And we had no idea, and we're still trying to confirm the number of victims, how many people have been affected.
Right.
And most importantly,
Give
to
me a
really
break.
grieve the life that has already been lost.
You're right, Happy.
Absolutely. We know that this community will never be the same. I think you are feeling a range of emotions right now. You're seeing grief.
Wasn't he trying to
You're
come up
seeing
with
anger. We heard from the mayor and the police chief.
say
of
Hamas the
anger
other
that
day
a
and he
day of
just couldn't even
celebration
get
turned
it out of
into
his
this,
mouth or
a
something? I
nightmare.
mean,
Oh, we're bringing you
he didn't know
video
what he was
from
talking
earlier
about.
this
He
afternoon.
doesn't know
The
what he's
family
talking about.
there, in the moments after, no doubt their
I mean,
loved
for
ones
people to
have
act
been
like there's not
transported
an
to the
actual
hospital and they're
concern
waiting
there
for those updates. Megan
is
Avitas
just
earlier talked
being,
about somebody being airlifted.
you're just fibbing.
No doubt in need of more critical care.
And that means it's serious.
And so this is something that, again, we are working as quickly as possible. Caitlin mentioned it there. We have crews all over the place. Mick Schaefer is walking into the studio right now. He's been on the air essentially since 6 or 7 this morning alongside Mackenzie Nelson.
Absolutely. Let's get to her right now. She's in the newsroom. Hey, Mac.
What Caitlin and Kevin were saying just a bit ago when you talked with them, you know, Caitlin and I have been texting saying everything happened so fast that we really haven't come out of that initial shock. But I also want to add, you know, she talks so highly of our reporters, you know, running out to,
Right,
to
jet lag.
gather information
Yep.
about this story. When we
That's
hit the
funny.
deck and we were taking cover, our photojournalist Al Miller was safely filming what was happening so that we're able to bring you these images right now on your screens. And it just was all so fast. Everything happened so fast. We heard shots ring out from all areas. And I also
Yeah.
wanted to point out, we
Yeah,
showed
you're
that
right.
video earlier of it looks
That's
like
what they.
fans
That's what
that
they're
were maybe
saying.
just enjoying
Well,
the
they're actually
parade,
trying really
tackling what
hard
might
not to
have
say
been
it.
a suspect or
But
someone that was
she's
involved. And I saw something
But
on social
didn't her
media
vehicle
earlier
say
today that
Palestine
said,
on it?
you know, it's that
Some kind
video
of
of those
Palestine
fans
sticker.
reacting in a time of need that really showed.
Yeah, they're not.
It sounds like we lost Mackenzie Nelson's
Oh, look at
microphone
that.
there. This is video of
God, look at people
someone
running and
being
oh
tackled
shit.
by what looks to be parade goers. We needed to
Oh.
let you know that we're not 100% sure what's transpiring in this video right now. Nothing has been confirmed
Oh,
by
her
law
notes too.
enforcement.
Oh, I
but
didn't
we
see
have
that.
seen this circulating on social media of people saying, hey, this looks like one of
Wow.
the shooters and parade goers tackled that person. But we do not have that information confirmed.
I got a
We did
party
want to show
bag
it
of
to you, though. It
chocolate.
is circulating. It's out there. But we're still trying to get some sort of context from
I'm glad you
police.
got
We
that,
got a
Legs.
statement in from the Kansas City Chiefs, and they say they're truly saddened by the senseless act of violence that occurred outside of Union Station at the conclusion of today's parade and rally. Our hearts go out to the victims, their families, and all of Kansas City. They say they're in close communication with the mayor's office as well as the Kansas City
Yeah,
Police
they are.
Department. They have confirmed that all of their players,
Of course she's
coaches,
crazy.
staff, and families are safe
This is the
and
thing,
accounted
crazy.
for. And they
Same
ended by
people don't
saying
do shit
they
like
want to thank
this.
local law enforcement and first
Period. I don't care
responders
what their
who were
thoughts
on
are.
scene to assist. No doubt that's not the way they
But
thought the day
those
would go for them.
Palestine people have
Absolutely
been
not. And
very
we're all thankful that so many officers as well as first responders were
crazy.
there to address what happened in seconds.
We're still working again to bring you
You have
as
a lot
much
of
information as
academia that
possible.
is
This is the scene when the
pushing all
shooting
that shit
happened
too.
and everything started to unfold. This is video taken
Oh
earlier
my
today.
God.
You could see officers running in. We saw this right as we got into the air, trying to figure out what was happening. I think there was a lot of confusion. There was chaos. You've had families separated. We know that a mom, we heard from one of our reporters, was separated from her son for an hour. I mean, can you imagine being separated from
Oh
your
my
child
God, no.
when all of this is going on?
We are getting just updates by the minute. There's a few things circulating from Children's Mercy. I'm going to wait until I see those things for myself before we bring them to you here live. So I know that there's a lot of information out there, everybody. I just want you to hang in with us, okay? Give us some time. We're trying to calm the seas and keep everybody informed as best we can. It's more important that we're right and clear and bringing you the most
Hey,
up-to-date and
Beezer.
correct information, then we bring it to you first.
There's a lot of information out there. We're trying to verify it. It takes time. We want the answers in seconds. I know we all do, but sometimes it takes a little bit longer just to make those phone calls, those emails, just to make sure it's correct, because we don't want to put any wrong information out there.
That image that was just on your screen, that was a live picture in front of police headquarters downtown. We're waiting for that press conference in about 9 minutes. But now we're going to go
Okay,
to Elise
9
Schoen,
minutes.
who's live for us there near Union
Did you
Station
hear
where the
that?
parade route.
You can just give me 1 second. So yeah, if you guys.
Okay, 9 minutes is the press conference. I want to show you what Pharmacy Girl sent me. Look at that. Look at that. This is from before the chaos. There you go. Mahomes. What is Kelsey wearing? It looks like he's wearing some kind of belt. Oh, okay. It's a safety belt. I was going to say, yeah, it looks like a belt. I don't know what Taylor was doing. I have no earthly idea. Got to be honest with you. I don't really care. You think so? I don't know. Oh, okay, okay. I was saying that's what it reminded me of. It made me think of a wrestling belt. But I thought, I almost said that, and I'm like, I don't really know about this. Okay, so let me find another one. Yeah, he was talking about it this morning on his podcast. Taylor was on a plane. I was going to say, I think she had to haul back ass out of town. But I don't know for sure. There's the man that actually did throw a interception. I mean, you can't deny it. He did. He did a good job, but he did throw an interception. He's so young and he acts really young too. It almost cracks me up. Well, that's what the coach said. That's what he said today, that he said the coach knew what was going on. And what him and his brother both said is their emotions are good for them in a lot of ways, and they're bad for them in a lot of ways because they're very emotional. And he said that Reed told him he knows what he was doing, and he said he didn't realize that he had shoved him so hard. He said he expected him to punch him, and he would have been good with that. But he said they have a great relationship. I don't know, There's plenty of disrespect going on in this world, I can tell you that. Got Mahomes down on the field. Queen, I don't know if you heard me. They said it was going to be 9 minutes and that was a few minutes ago, till the press conference. So let's see. We'll get back over here. Everybody, we got to thank Pharmacy Girl for those awesome photos.
Can hear me okay now? We're live here on Grand and Pershing. We're still watching some people who are walking around. So I ran into Darla and Marissa, mother and daughter here. They were actually just starting to leave the scene at Union Station when they heard and saw sort of what had happened. I kind of want you guys just to take me back. You said originally when you guys were walking, you did at first hear what sounded like gunshots, right?
Yes, yeah, and I wasn't sure if it was like explosions from like cannons or like fireworks or whatever, but I mean, no one was really reacting, but I thought I heard something, and then we heard the shots were fired through the police radio, so then it kind of got real. So,
and just what went through your head when you guys were leaving the celebrations, the parade just happened? What went through your head when you realized that this was real?
just a lot of shock, honestly. It's just crazy that this is what the world's come to. Like,
And then you were saying too that you had went into Crown Center after, and what did you see when you went into Crown Center after?
We went all the way down to the Chinese restaurants where there wasn't a lot of customers, and when we sat down and were eating, people were running by in the hallway. I didn't know what they were running from. I wasn't sure if there was like a fight right there, or I didn't really know where West met when I heard that over the radio.
Yeah. And have you guys? Is this your first time coming to the Super Bowl parade?
First time for the parade, yeah.
So I guess just walk me through. And it is just so unfortunate that this had to be the way that this magnificent.
This is not Kansas City. This isn't Kansas City. We don't do this.
yeah, it's just sad to see it.
And I just mentioned to her, look at all the nationalities, and everybody gets along over football. Spoke to you soon.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, guys. I hope that you can try to just decompress and just hold each other closely throughout the rest of your day out here. Thank you so much for speaking with us, and I'm so glad that you both are okay. Thank you so much. I do know that if my photographer can pan things over here, we had mentioned earlier that this street was closed. It looks open. I did just speak with a Kansas City police officer who said that it is open for police cars only. So he doesn't even know. It might be down toward 13th Street when it's actually open to regular traffic. But as of right now, please still stay away from this area. Police are asking. They have yellow tape.
That's what happens, I think.
Along this intersection. So just remember.
Yeah,
again,
and he said,
please stay away from this area as police are asking.
He said everybody knew that everybody was
we'll go ahead and send things back
wound
to you
up because they were losing and
who are standing around here and just trying to
emotions
make
were
sure
way
everyone
high.
is okay. And we'll continue to bring you those stories and updates as we learn them. Guys, back to you.
Thanks, Elise. And we do want to share one update from Children's Mercy. They say they have 12 patients, 11 are kids, 9 with gunshot wounds.
Say it again.
12 patients, 11 are kids, 9 with gunshot wounds.
Wow.
You all need to take that in because that's every single one of our responsibility. Mick?
Don't start.
Hey guys,
Is that the news or your opinion? Which
so
is
we
this?
were shout out by the way to Elise,
yes,
and Megan and Caitlin and
Nobody's
Kevin
okay with that.
and Al Miller and Kyle Haas, and I'm missing a few guys out there, guys and gals. I think Daniela's still out there and Steve as well for staying out there, and they're right in the middle of it. We were all right in the middle of it when it happened.
I know.
And
Can
they
you see? I
continue
don't
to
know that we can watch
report on,
shit.
It's crazy. I think Elise went out there to cover this huge event. It's 2 events, right? It's a huge event that was so positive, and now it's this huge event that's so negative, and so many of those guys and gals were out there at 4, 5, and 6 in the morning, and they're going to be out there 4, 5, and 6 o'clock tonight because of what transpired today. Our point of view, to me, it seemed like there were 3 different
Right,
scenes.
Jerry?
Right. You had the shooting, the number of shots fired while we were on the air. I didn't hear them. We had the headphones on, and people were relaying to us, okay, something's happening. We saw everybody running. And then later, people started running out of Union Station. That's the video I shot there of all the police officers running into Union
What are you
Station.
talking
Something
about? What
happened in
happened,
there. Later, we
Robbie?
saw somebody being wheeled out on a stretcher. You see from both,
You serious?
both sides of the stage. Cops are streaming into Union Station. So that seemed like really kind of like the second scene to me. And then the third one was probably several minutes later. It sounded like a gunshot, just not far out of screen there, right behind the NFL Network site set they had there. There's the video right there. And you see more police convening on that area there. It looked like it was kind of at the top of the stairs that leads down to the Union Station parking garage. Something transpired there. So from my point of view, and I might be off, right? All these eyewitness points of view aren't always the same, but it seemed like there were 3 separate incidences. Maybe not all involving gunshots, but it seemed like definitely something happened inside Union Station, as well as the gunshot we heard later.
Mick, we've got some information coming in. We just got an update from St. Luke saying they have 1 shooting victim there. 4 others are being treated for injuries from fleeing. We're also expecting a press conference coming up from University Health at 5:15. That's in a little under 20 minutes. They're going to have the CEO and their medical director. So we should get some more information.
And
on
right
the
here in
victims.
just minutes, we should be hearing from Kansas City Police again. They're expected to have another update. We're hoping for some more details, some more answers. I know all of you are waiting for that as well. That should be coming up at about 5 o'clock. give or take a few minutes.
I know we got a statement from Congresswoman Sharice Davids of Kansas. It's supposed to be coming in, but we haven't received it just yet. When we get it, we'll put it up on the screen so that way you can see it for yourself.
Yeah, that's what they said.
We're just really working to bring you the most up-to-date information. And Mick, you're there.
Yeah.
People are there with our families.
What
you know,
about the
you're
children
celebrating.
shot in
And you see the kids. I mean, you guys are out there taking photos with them to know that
low-income housing
a
areas?
dozen children.
So many kids
every
out there,
day.
probably even more than normal because they were wanting
Stray
their pop star
bullets
to
and
show
shit.
up, right? And there
The
was
shit
rumors
happens
that
all
she
the
might
time.
be there, and
No reason for you to act all
we
wound
take
up about
pride
it
in
right
all
now.
the people that show up to these parades.
Yeah.
For a town our size, we'll bring 500,000 people out to celebrate the Chiefs 3 times, the Royals 1 time. But that's a lot of people there, right? And when something like this happened, you mentioned all the injuries from people running away. Stuff like that's going to occur. People have been out there all day long, a lot of them drinking, running away. You have injuries.
Okay, well,
from that
people
as
are
well.
running from
And then,
what's going
of course,
on.
The gunshots and the people, the kids in the hospital is just the worst news right there. And,
Absolutely. Mick, you've had a slight moment to catch your breath, a slight moment, I'll say. What's going through your mind at this point?
I mean, look, there were a lot of us up there so we have, we get inside the ropes, right? Because we are a partner with the Kansas City Chiefs, and it's great for our coverage. We got the jib arms in there. We're inside the ropes. We're interviewing all these athletes, and it's a big, big day for us. So we're on the podium. We're the closest to the stage of anybody. We have a great view. All the reporters, after they're done, they come up on the stage.
I know,
and watch.
me
So
too,
there's a
Queen. It
number
makes
of
me
people
very
up
sick.
there with us. And once everybody started running out of Union Station, that's when we knew, okay, maybe whatever happened moments ago isn't over with. So that's when we were told, okay, get off the air. We're gonna take cover. And we got down there. I can't say I ever felt that my life was in danger. Maybe I should have. But at that time right there, when cops are running in, you realize you have no idea what's going on. In the end, we'll come out and maybe, like they said, it's 1 shooter, 2 shooters, they got in a fight or whatever. But at that time, you have no idea the scope of this thing, how big it could be. So that's racing through your mind to where you're like, okay, this is a big unknown at this point.
A lot of confusion right
I'm
there.
going to tell you my opinion,
all
my
the people
personal
right
opinion.
there. I mean, Caitlin
This is
and
just
Kevin were
me.
talking about people leaving their
We've completely
strollers,
gone
their
away from
chairs, and
God.
talks about
So
the
much stuff is
urgency.
left back. My backpack's
That's where
left
this
back
shit's
there. I have a
happening.
couple
We have gone
books
away
and
from God.
everything,
We have
and
decided
maybe
that
maybe
just
the crew got it,
run
maybe they
amok,
didn't,
act a damn fucking
because
fool
we walked out to
is
the
the
shuttle,
greatest
Mackenzie and
thing
I,
in the
and
fucking world.
once I got past the perimeter, I realized they're not going to let
Nobody
me back
has
in.
to
That is
follow
a
rules.
crime
Nobody
scene right
has
there that
to
we were in the middle
be
of for so
respectful.
long, and we were
Just
the only ones
fucking
there. And the police
biggest
officers who were
idiot
so
you can be,
cooperative with us with our badges on and
the better.
everything, let us continue to broadcast for a while until you saw that Caitlin and Kevin needed to get out of there, and rightfully so. So I wasn't able to get back in there. You know, I'm the sports guy and everything, but I'm willing to lend a hand and grab a camera, grab a microphone, whatever is necessary, because this is
Whatever religion you are in this
such a
country, they
awful
will
deal,
just
but such a big
accommodate
deal,
it
and
to
we're-
hell.
it's gonna take,
Christianity
a
is
few days,
literally
right,
not
to
welcome
unwrap all
in this
and
country.
what
It's
occurred
not.
there today.
I think it bears repeating. Children's Mercy alone took 12 patients, 11 of them
Shut
are
the fuck
children,
up.
and 9 of them have gunshot wounds out of the Chiefs Super Bowl parade.
It's different than what we
Right.
heard in the
Right.
press conference,
Right.
correct?
So this is the latest info.
And
We
this
just
is
got it minutes
where
ago.
I just want to caution people at home. We got to be patient. We got to give people time to work. I know we
But I
want answers.
guarantee
We're
this
fighting to
this
get
one
those
right
answers
here
for you, but this is going
will
to
fight
continue
all
to
day long
evolve,
for you
and we're
to
going to be with you.
abort children all day
Press
long.
conference from Kansas City
Guarantee
Police
it.
and the mayor. We also have an update from Congresswoman Sharice Davids that will bring you. But right now, we're all going to take a breath. We're going to reset. And
Yeah,
see
I'm
you
going
back
to
here in
take one
just a moment.
too, so I don't have to
This is not Kansas City.
have ill feelings towards
out of
you.
the building, and you could hear people yelling, "Active shooter, active shooter." All of a sudden, it was like a scramble of the crowd.
We definitely heard the shot. The girl next to me, where my daughter was standing with her husband, was shot.
I was there with my wife. I was there with my mother. We never would have thought we'd be forced to run for our safety today.
I'll cry it out. I'll do what
Terribly
I need to
sad.
once I reach my husband and my family, my loved ones. The lady next to me, she has some blood on her. Probably the worst feeling I've ever felt.
Hey, Tammy.
I tried to just hold her so nothing would happen to her.
Very sad.
We continue to follow breaking news for you tonight here on KSHB 41 News. Several people are hurt. One person is dead, including children, after shots were fired near the parking garage at Union Station. I need to clarify, there is not confirmation that a child has died. We know that one person has died. This entire situation unfolded at 1:25 p.m., just minutes after the Chiefs Kingdom Champions parade rally wrapped up. Hundreds of thousands of fans were still gathered in the area, then started running for cover, jumping barricades, and ducking for their safety, including our KSHB 41 crew.
And as Dia just mentioned, right now we know one person was killed. Police saying at least 10 to 15
Yes,
people
Timmy,
were
isn't it
hurt.
good to see
We are
Ro?
working to learn if that number
Haven't
will
seen her.
increase. We know patients were taken to Children's Mercy and University
Yes,
Health.
happy Valentine's Day.
Some of them even continue doing their job, speaking with people. And we're praying and grieving with the families who were impacted tonight. I mean, this has impacted the entire Kansas City community. It's something, unfortunately, we will always remember.
We want to go to some of those people who were there on the scene when those shots rang out and chaos ensued.
Actually, the children that we know and physically in our family are
Her
in
leg
Children's
is
Mercies right now.
broken.
Her
We
leg is
just found out that her leg is
Oh,
broken, and so
shit.
now
Oh,
we're just
God.
praying around the grounds because we can't go in. So
From what?
I guess from running of the
Being
it's more
trampled
like a
on.
stampede, I'm
Shit.
thinking is what was happening.
Oh,
A lot
God.
we saw people getting picked up, men, women gathering their kids immediately, so that way they can get out the way.
The only thing that you can do is you resort back into your hope. Where your hope lies, you can only be like, okay, God, something has to change now. I mean, it's crazy to go from celebrating to having a painful experience where people are passing away or dying or being, stampeded and hurt and harmed. God led us back down here to begin to pray, and everything is foundational in prayer.
You described it as your worst nightmare when that happened. Is that accurate?
Yes, it can be a nightmare. Your children, you never want your children to ever go through this. You don't want anybody to ever, be hurt. I mean, Kansas City is such an amazing place, and we want everybody to be safe at all times. But to the fact that you can go from that to gunshots being gone off, and you're thinking there's fireworks, but it's gunshots and somebody's getting killed. I mean, it's a nightmare. But we're here to spread hope through prayer.
Said to her, I think that was something over there. And she's like, oh, it's fine, Heather, it's fine. And then I saw yellow vests like running and people running. And I'm like, I don't think it's fine.
It was such a great, fun environment until that moment.
Just so disappointing because we are major Chiefs fans.
Oh, Tammy,
We
I'm
just
so
wanted to
sorry.
Celebrate with everybody else.
I probably won't come to the parade again. It makes me so sad. It's my third one.
Thoughts and prayers are with you.
Love it. Like,
So sorry.
we spread love in Kansas City, and I can't believe it happened here. I'm so sad. It's not in our city. Like, I just didn't expect this to happen here.
None of us did.
Nobody did. And this is not Kansas City.
We're going to go out to Megan Abundis, who is live for us at University Health.
clearly
We're
it
waiting
is.
a press conference, Megan, hopefully an update on the condition of the victims who are being treated there. I know you've been alongside their families. Please bring us the latest.
We're hoping to get an update in the next few minutes here from hospital staff. They have said that they are treating 8 people with gunshot wounds from Union Station, and 2 of those victims are in critical condition, and they say 4 others have non-gunshot injuries. I mean, just to think about the pure number of people who have come through this hospital through an ambulance and all of their family members here who have been awaiting answers. I mean, we saw large groups of people in Chiefs uniform waiting outside the emergency room because there wasn't enough room to get in the doors. So they were taken to the chapel around the corner so they could reconnect with their family members. I mean, we're expecting to hear from the chief clinical executive officer to talk about the conditions of these people. It's truly heartbreaking to hear that people are saying this is their last parade or this has affected them in a way that they can never forget. I mean, yeah, it's sad to think about. So we're going to give you that update in just a couple of minutes ago.
Well, of
A couple
course.
minutes to go, and we'll give you the latest.
Thanks, Megan, for that update. We are expected to hear from Police Chief Stacey Graves and Mayor Quentin Lucas within the next few minutes. We'll have a live picture of that, and here it is right there. Any minute now, this press conference is supposed to start at 5. We're 12 minutes past the hour now. give or take a few minutes, this is what happens in a situation like this. They're probably gathering information, so we have the latest.
And another thing to note, we're again expecting that live update from University Health. Whichever is live first, I assume we will bring you on the air, but I assure
Thank
you we will
you.
record
That's exactly right.
the other press
That
conference.
is
And we're going to
exactly
bring
right.
you those updates live from our first responders, live from law enforcement,
That's
the
my
mayor, the
opinion.
people who are treating the victims, really to try to help
100%.
this city calm and start to move forward and hopefully heal a little bit.
And there's just been so much information out there. And again, we want to stress, we are trying to verify every piece of information that comes into our newsroom. It does take time, sometimes longer than we would like, but we try to bring it to you as soon as we have it.
Someone did message me and said, you know, we need to go to Megan Abundis.
Yep.
They are walking out.
All right, guys,
we're
Exactly what's going on.
They're regrouping.
We have abandoned him.
She's here. She's gonna talk. It's good.
Okay, we're going to leave this video up for you. Actually, this is a live picture. We're going to leave this up for you. They're getting set to begin this press conference. This will be the first update we've had on victims, their condition, and what happens next. But we're going to get you up to speed here. We have one person who was killed in the shooting at the Chiefs Parade today. 10 to 15 people minimum hurt. I do expect that number to increase just based on updates.
I want to know about the people who were
hospitals.
arrested.
There are 12 patients at Children's Mercy, 11 of them children, and nine kids have gunshot wounds after going to the Chiefs Parade today. 2 people who were armed are now in custody. Cameron has mentioned Chief Graves called them suspects. So we are looking forward to getting more information from her on where that investigation stands.
And I think a lot of people want to know, who are these people? Do they live here in the Kansas City area? What was their intent? And I don't think we're going to get all of those answers in this next press conference, but we might get some of them.
You know, Megan has described for us all afternoon how high the emotions are there outside the hospital. Imagine going from that celebratory moment to your loved one being transported to the hospital to
That's what I
standing
believe.
outside on the curb waiting for information.
That's
Just
exactly
any
what I believe,
sliver or
Tammy.
shred of hope that everything's going to be okay. And now we're going to be able to get answers from the people inside working to save lives today.
And this is something most
Go out of our
have
way to
never
do
experienced
idiotic
in their
shit.
lives. I think that's where the trauma comes in, right? I think we talk about this a lot. We see it in other communities, but this happened here in our community.
Oh boy, Union Station looks a lot more somber. Kevin often calls it the living room of Kansas City, a place we gather for the NFL draft or for a parade. And we have Elise
Where a lot
Schoenig.
of visitors go, you know, I take my own family there, but let's head out to Elise Schoenig now.
Yeah, guys, you know, you're centering all these conversations I'm hearing you two having there back at the desk, Dia and Cameron, about just how much we love and celebrate and cherish Union Station and Kansas City and all the celebrations we bring here. And, you know, as I'm looking out here right now, if we can kind of pan over here, I'm looking on my right side where the road is still closed off, where there's still some police vehicles and law enforcement. And then just directly to the left, there's a street that's filled with, you know, leftover cans from the parade, some confetti, people who are driving. It literally almost feels like it's the tale of two cities. It's honestly hard to even remember that there was a parade today. And again, it's just evident in the fact the way that's split, where I see a leftover parade scene and then the leftover scene from a tragedy. Once again, touching on just the roads out here. This one still is blocked off. And then over here to my
I agree,
right,
Tuff.
I did just see a car that was not a police car drive through. So it does appear that roads are starting to open again. It's honestly feeling completely still and quiet right now, which is obviously very different compared to what it felt like earlier today and this morning. And just there was, you know, so much noise. And I think that's something that I really want to touch on, is that I think
It's
the
scary.
only thing I can describe more than anything right now is the silence. And I think that
What? Right, tragic, isn't it nuts? Shooting after the Super Bowl parade in Kansas City.
Good day. I'm Tom Costello with NBC
Yep.
News. We are on NBC News now, and we have been watching KSHB Channel 41 coverage
Exactly,
in Kansas
Tammy.
City of the afternoon shooting that, according to our affiliate there, has now resulted in
Yeah, apparently
multiple
it-
children shot. The police saying we had at least 10 to 15 wounded or injured and at least one individual dead. Kansas City affiliate Channel 41 reporting that there are 12 patients at Children's Mercy Hospital. 11 of them are children, and that, in fact, many of them are gunshot wounds as well. The police are expected
We're
to
just
hold a
getting
news
ready to
conference
have a
any moment now. Just seconds,
press
this happened
conference
just seconds
is
after the players from the Kansas City team, Patrick Mahomes,
a little bit late,
Travis
but it's
Kelce and
supposed to be
others,
starting.
stopped speaking. Police immediately rushed to the scene of the shooting, which was right at Union Station in downtown Kansas City, right behind the stage that the team was actually standing on. And where
I know,
everybody
it's
had
scary to go
gathered
anywhere.
Celebrate their Super Bowl victory.
You know, because people
I
are
can
just
tell you that
ugly
the
these days.
mayor
It's
of
just
Kansas
humanity
City says
has
that he
gone to
himself
hell.
was inside
Nobody
and
cares
ran for
about
his
life.
life. His words, along with his
It's
wife
gross.
and mother, as the shooting broke out. Witnesses described two teenagers, their words, teenagers, young boys or young men who they believe were in fact the shooters. You can see paramedics there removing some of the victims who
I
were
think we
on
might find out
gurneys
who
and
they
stretchers
arrested. I
being
hope.
taken away to waiting
They
fire,
said some
EMS,
parade
and
goers
ambulances, and then rushed to multiple hospitals,
trampled on
including,
the
as we've said, University Health, Truman Medical Center, as well as Children's Mercy Hospital in
shooters.
downtown Kansas City. And the local reporters there on the scene all saying that it has been an afternoon of absolute pandemonium and for a good deal of time, confusion and fear as police rushed in towards the sound of the shooting there at Union Station and then chased down one or both shooters. Two suspects are now in custody. We do not know officially who they are or what any possible
It's so
motivation might
sad.
be, although speculation is on the ground and our own law enforcement sources are saying that this does not appear to be any sort of a terror threat, that in fact, this appears to be a local criminal event, criminal activity on the scene. It's not clear whether this was some sort of a robbery attempt or if in fact this was an individual or two individuals involved in some sort of a grievance or a standoff or something, an argument with another group of individuals. Again, we're expecting to get more information from the police any time now. The Kansas City Fire Department has also been reporting throughout the afternoon that they have been treating multiple victims, 10 to 15, as we said, taken to area hospitals, and at least one individual dead. Right there, the steps of the police headquarters. We're expecting a news conference any time now. We have been hearing from the chief of police in Kansas City earlier in the afternoon. She made the point, this is not Kansas City. This kind of violence is not Kansas City. However, our own research has found that, in fact, Kansas City closed out 2023.
Yeah,
with
are
a
you okay?
Very, very high,
Tragic?
like many cities across the country, a very high
Yeah, we were
homicide
watching
rate
the
and shooting
trial.
rate. Nobody
Just
expected that a celebration
finishing up the day
attracting
with the trial,
a
and
million people to downtown Kansas
Mr.
City
Smarty
to
came in and
celebrate
told
the
me.
Chiefs' Super Bowl victory, that celebration would also turn violent. There were 800 police officers on hand for this event, according to local authorities. Not only 200 local Kansas City police officers, but other officers from across the region, including federal agents.
You just have
there to
people being
support
ugly these
the
days. You
police
know what? There's all
because of the
kinds
fact
of,
they were expecting
you
so
have
many
so
people.
much
We are now
drug death
expecting to hear from
these
Chief
days. It's
Graves,
horrible.
who is about to approach the microphone.
But people
along
don't
with the
seem to
mayor of
care about
Kansas City.
life.
Let's listen in.
It's sad.
Mayor Quentin Lucas.
Here we
I'm
go.
joined by Kansas City Police Chief Stacey Graves, the Kansas City Fire Chief Ross Grandison. One thing that we want to note at the outset,
Cindy.
the situation continues to have updates. Things will continue to change throughout the night. That's why we are here to give you an update right now. The chief, both chiefs, will be giving more information both on the numbers of victims, the status of victims. The chief of police will give more updates on the investigation. A few things to note that we talked about earlier. In terms of who was in danger, what existed, it is my view, as someone who did have to run at the sound of shooting, that there were a number of people who were, in the very least, caught up in the incident in some way. Myself, my wife, lots of families, players, chief staff, and others, their spouses, their families. a number of people who are in or near a Union Station. So many people have been touched by this incident, and we recognize that. We also pray not only for the victims, including the decedent that was discussed earlier and their family, but also the victims of the shootings right now, who we hope are recovering inside our hospitals. We'll continue to give you updated information. At this point, we've talked to our federal partners. We have also talked to the Kansas City Chiefs. We will be talking to the National Football League and others. More so just to hear that all are safe who are with those institutions, and we continue to hope that all of those who are impacted are safe. To the extent you have information about suspects or others, we do encourage you to call the police. However, if for whatever other reasons you have information about the incident, we will be looking to share that through different methods. So if you have information about the incident, suspects and others, please call the police. If you're looking for other information, we'll try to continue to give you regular updates. I'll say this final thing, and then we'll come back for questions at the end. Today was tragic for everyone who was part of it. I had the chance to talk to my wife just a moment ago, who said we became part of a statistic of too many Americans, those who have experienced or been part of or connected to a mass shooting. That is something that I hope we all recognize is highly problematic for all of us. I continue to commend our police officers, our firefighters, and others who were there to respond instantly. But we also need to figure out a way to make sure that things like this stop happening in our country. With that, I turn it over to the Chief of Police, Stacey Graves.
Thank you. I just want to echo the mayor's thoughts and his prayers, and also to acknowledge that not only the victims who were actually hit by gunfire, but there are a lot more people who are going to be forever impacted by what happened here today. You know, as people were running, you know, a lot of us law enforcement who are running towards the danger also guided those who were in fear of their lives, and that's something to be said of how impactful today's event truly was. Again, we have confirmed there is one deceased person. Our gunshot wound total has went up to 22, and Chief Grandison will provide a little bit more context to that. Right now, we're still working on a total of number of victims. This is still an active investigation. I do want to comment on the question that I got earlier about a video of some fans tackling someone. We do have 3 persons detained and under investigation for today's incident. We are working to determine if one of the 3 are the one that was in that video where fans assisted police. Our investigators are working with all of the surviving victims to connect them with loved ones. We are also working to identify our deceased victim so we can notify their family as soon as possible. We are also in the process of staffing a centralized phone number. The centralized phone number will be for those who are victims, witnesses, and if anyone has video or any information about what led up to what happened here today. Again, we are continuously receiving information minute by minute, which is part of the delay of us coming down here. But I do want to pass this on to Chief Grandison to give a little bit more context to some of the status of our victims.
Just want to say that all of KCFD's thoughts and prayers are with those families that were affected by this tragedy today. And while we were not expecting it, we were ready and prepared for an event such like this. Our KCFD units, along with our mutual aid partners that were working to assist us at this event, touched a total of 22 gunshot victims. One of those was a fatality. We had 8 what we considered immediately life-threatening patients. We had 7 with life-threatening injuries, and we had 6 that had minor injuries. Of the most serious, the immediately life-threatening injuries, we had 8 of those. Those were all transported and off the scene and route to hospitals within 10 minutes. So we felt the response was certainly adequate and appropriate, and I commend all our staff working there today, along with PD, that did an excellent job under difficult circumstances. We transported 3 different hospitals. We transported Children's Mercy, Truman Medical, and also St. Luke's on the Plaza.
Questions? Yeah, so we're getting. Who are you asking? Anyone that can answer the question. So we've heard people talk about gunshots that they heard near the west side of Union Station, and then also gunfire and situations that happened near the fountain and the stoplight over there near the intersection of Pershing. Was there 2 separate scenes? Was there one big scene? Do you know the answer to that question?
That is still an active scene. We that is a large ground to cover, as you know, the size of the Union Station. I will tell you, we have located that crime scene on the west side of Union Station. As far as in the front of, that is still under investigation. We have crime scene investigators as well as the detectives. We had a lot of our assault squad detectives and our homicide detectives that were actually in uniform today working the assignment. So not only did you have uniform presence immediately responding to the scene, rendering aid, going towards danger, but you also had detectives that were immediately on the scene that are still there and actively working.
I was hoping right now we would hear who did it.
Any sort of connection with
I haven't heard.
shooting in the day at 27th and McKee?
We are, at this time, we don't know if that's connected, but that is something that we are looking at.
Children's Mercy said
We also heard there was more than one
parents can
incident.
contact them if they don't know where their children are. Do you know that there may be, like, are there kids there who have a parent?
I can tell you we have detectives at all of the local hospitals that are investigating, like I said earlier, trying to connect our victims to their loved ones. Should that be the case and it's a child, someone can either contact police, or if that is what Children's Mercy is requesting, of course, they can contact them as well.
Is there anything you can say about motive?
Right now, we do not have a motive, but we are asking those who may potentially have any kind of information, a witness, or video.
No, kids have no
contact
regard for
police.
life
That's
these
one of
days. It's
that,
disgusting.
what I talked about, that phone number that we're setting up, that's going to be centralized for victims, witnesses, and potential video evidence.
Any age range on the person?
I do not have that yet.
Learned of a second gunshot victim who has died from family. Is that development?
I have not been able to confirm another death.
We mentioned that there were some victims taken to Children's Mercy Hospital. I understood from staff at Children's Mercy Hospital that they received, they have 9 shooting victims, and it's possible that one of them was an adult. Do you know how many children were shot, if it was 8 or 9? And when we're talking children, are we talking about little
Right.
ones or 17-year-olds? Do you know?
You're exactly right.
Patients up to 17 years old. Children's accepts patients up to 17 years old, and but we do not have that information currently on the exact ages of the
But you do believe that
patients.
the children were shot?
But you've
Yeah,
arrested
Children's
3
confirming
people.
We did transport to Children's Mercy, but we
How
do
old
not
are
have the
they?
ages of those patients.
Mayor, how scary. You had over 800 officers deployed to work this parade, to work outside of Union Station, and still in a matter of moments.
No, because we're just worried about a bunch of horse shit.
I mean, that's what happens with guns. I won't get in a big debate right now. I think we're still doing an
Yeah, I
investigation.
certainly hope you're not going to get in a big
I mean,
fucking
what you
debate
saw
about it.
happen was why people talk about guns a lot. We had over 800 officers there, staffed, situated all around Union
Daryl
Station
Brooks
today.
killed how many
We
people
had
with his car?
security in any number of places, eyes on top of buildings and beyond. And there still is a risk to people. And I think that's something that all of us who are parents, who are just regular people living each day, have to decide what we wish to do about it. Parades, rallies, schools, movies, it seems like almost nothing is safe. And we had hundreds of law enforcement there working hard today. And I do want to echo what the chief said, who are running towards danger. But in a matter of seconds, someone who wants to disrupt
Right.
anything, someone who wants to create any type of situation,
because-
someone who is very simply reckless, can change not just
Right.
one life or 2 lives, but almost 2 dozen. And that to me is absolutely devastating.
No, it's not the gun. The
It
fact
makes me
is,
feel
it's not legal to go and shoot people. So changing, we can't legislate people's hearts, and that's what's wrong here. There's something wrong with hearts, people's heart right now.
those two individuals who clearly caused so much harm.
What was the question?
Can you tell us more about how you were able to take those two suspects into
Yep.
custody?
That's why I love that
Officers, uniformed
that mother
officers
that
were
just
on
got
scene.
found guilty.
I don't have all the information of exactly what they witnessed, but there was a pursuit, apprehension.
Exactly.
Injuries
We've got to
by our
fix people's
officers taking
hearts.
someone into
That's what's
custody,
wrong
but
here.
As far as you're directly answering your question, I don't have that information right now.
Chief Graves, you have two gunmen in custody.
You were talking about weapons earlier. Can you tell me how many and
Right.
what type of weapons?
No, and parents not being
I
responsible
don't
to
have the
take care of their
exact
kids
on
and know
the
what the
weapons,
hell's
but we
going
have
on.
recovered firearms. I don't have a number for you or a caliber.
My
We
kids
have
did not
recovered
fucking run
firearms.
amok. That was,
At least one.
they didn't even try to, but they would have gotten nowhere with it.
Gunmen in custody. Do you believe there are any others still unaccounted for?
We have 3 people that we have detained.
And parents making
and
up
that is what we are
excuses
asking
for everything their
for
kids
is If
do.
anyone has any information, is a witness or has any kind of video that may provide us if there's anybody else that was involved in this.
So is there a risk to the community?
I'm more worried
No,
about
at
their
this
kid
time,
wants to change
the scene
genders
has
5
been
times a fucking day.
Cleared, it's being held. And when I
It's
say cleared,
stupidity.
I say the scene has been made safe.
There's no sense in common sense right now. Zero.
Right now, we are in the investigative portion of that, collecting evidence, whether that be digital evidence or physical evidence. That is what we're doing right now.
We need to
And
start
we're
having
also
regard for
conducting
human life.
interviews. Obviously, we have several victims. That
Like
we
when you
need
let
to
3
have a
people sit
conversation
outside in your
with, to ask
backyard and just
questions.
die.
Also witnesses. So there's a lot of work ahead in this. This is just the beginning stages, but we are moving as fast as we can.
Can you explain that there was like a 5 minutes between the first shots and the second?
All of that has not been determined just yet. The number of shots, the time in between them, the motive, all of that is still actively being
So we
investigated.
don't know if there were 2 separate scenes. We don't know the answer to that at this point.
I cannot confirm that yet.
And just, did I miss this? Was
Last
this
one here, guys.
inside or outside Union Station?
This was all outside Union Station.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
That
Thank you.
Thank you.
Might have just been somebody who was helping police. I just want to make sure I'm right with my facts. You said you have 3 people in custody.
We have 3 people that are detained for investigation.
I didn't want to yell it out.
Are they teenagers? What are they?
So that
They
is
didn't
the
say
latest from the
anything.
Kansas City Police Chief, as well as the mayor and the fire chief. And the headlines, as you heard, and perhaps the biggest one, is that they now have 22 people
Oh, I
who have been
didn't see
shot
your.
as a result of what happened
Bro,
at
I
this
didn't see it.
celebration for the Kansas
You don't
City
have to
Chiefs,
apologize. You can have
Super Bowl
emotions.
win. 22 people shot, at least one known to be dead on the scene. They transported to 3 separate hospitals in the area, including St. Luke's, Truman Medical Center, and Children's Mercy. We're told
I'm
that
certainly
children are among
things that
those
are
who are shot.
politically correct.
We don't have the exact number from that. 3 people had been detained, according to the police chief. One of them, or they did also take into custody 1 weapon, according to the chief, and they are working to confirm whether video, in fact,
Right, Tammy,
does
no,
show
I didn't have that shit
fans
going on in my life.
tackling one of the suspects. There is video showing fans
Because they are
bringing
mine.
down
Yeah,
one
that's what I was
individual.
wondering. Yeah.
The police chief said they need to understand whether that individual was in fact one of the shooters. They're still working to identify that individual. And they're still working, by the way, to identify the individual who is deceased so that they can notify his or her family. They're asking for more information, whether you know anything about the suspects, about the motivation. If you have any video, they're asking for
Yeah, don't
individuals
apologize,
to
bro.
contact the Kansas City Police
You
Department
are
with
among
any and
friends
all
here.
information. The fire chief making the point that they were well prepared for any eventuality. Not that they anticipated this, but they had fire and rescue engines and ambulances on standby in the area, as they always do for a big crowd. And they're grateful
Hey,
that they
Miller.
have those personnel at close range because, of course, they were able to respond so quickly, transporting to those 3 individual hospitals. And they said the 8 individuals who were most severely injured, life-threatening injuries, they had them out of the scene and on their way to area hospitals within 10 minutes. Well, let's go to now one of the hospitals holding a news conference right now.
Level 1 trauma center. This is what we trained for. We implemented our mass casualty protocols. We saw 8 shooting victims in the hospital as a result of that. But we also had a significant number of staff that were on the scene. We were manning the aid stations, so they were able to render aid very quickly to the patients that were
Oh,
on the
God.
scene. So
Wow,
Mark
bro.
Seal is our Executive Chief Clinical Officer. He can answer any questions, talk about the condition of the patients that we saw and what's going on there. So, Dr. Seal.
Did you, I didn't hear that, but
Yes, so as Charlie said, we actually had a total of 12 patients, 8 that were gunshot victims. Otherwise, the other 4 had other sorts of problems. And 2 of the people who were shot are in critical condition. The others are all in stable condition.
I just want to make sure I heard the numbers correctly. So it's 8 gunshot victims or 4?
8 gunshot victims in total.
Of those 8 gunshot victims, are they over the age of 18?
I don't know their expectations.
Can you tell us anything about that?
All I can tell you is that 6 are stable and
Staff running into the hospital here. We also saw some of your staff here at the beginning. 2 people are coming in here. What type of protocol do you train for and then have to activate?
yeah, now, as a level 1 trauma center, we train for this kind of thing. We obviously hope that it never happens, but we were actually very well prepared. We had enough notice that we were going to get some patients. We didn't know exactly how many. Fortunately, being during the day, we had a
sad but true, Queen.
lot of physicians on here present, and so very quickly we discontinued starting any new surgical cases so that those surgeons and anesthesiologists would be available for any patients who had to go to the operating room. We called in some additional people early to come here to help out, additional emergency physicians, and some other surgeons came from home.
Oh yeah, bro, I know. You know what? Back in the day, that was a big thing, but now I don't think they ever do.
Die at the hospital here.
What are your takeaways from today? Obviously, a wonderful day here that has turned into.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously it's a big tragedy, such a big celebration.
No, I don't think they do anymore. They just drive right past it.
It's wrapping up, and people are going to head home, and all of a sudden this happens. So, and as Charlie said, it's very traumatic. It's traumatic for anybody who was there in the area, not only our staff, but all the people who were around and saw this. And so it's really very unfortunate.
One more question. When you say critical condition, can you explain that to our viewers, give them a scope of what that means?
Well, that means they're
Oh my
very
God,
sick,
Trazzle.
and certainly we hope that they're going to survive. But when somebody's in critical condition, certainly things could turn south. But we hope that doesn't happen with these 2 individuals.
Thank you guys for your time. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
It wouldn't surprise me. That's why they're not saying anything
That is the
tragic.
update from one of the hospitals, one of the 3 hospitals in Kansas City where they've transported patients. University Health Center there, Truman Med Center, where they report that they have 8 gunshot wound victims. 2 are critical, 6 in stable condition, and no deaths at that hospital at University Health. However, they've also transported patients to Children's Mercy Hospital and to St. Luke's, and we're told that there is at least 1 individual who is deceased. Another headline we wanted to bring you from that news conference with the chief, and that's that they are looking into whether this shooting today involving, or rather at the celebration downtown Union Station, is in any way related to another shooting they had earlier in the day in another part of the city. They don't know. They're looking at that. They made mention of the fact they had 800 police officers on hand for this big celebration today, and that included detectives who are assigned to the homicide as well as the assault squad already there. So when this happened, they were already on the scene. We're told mostly on the west side of Union Station and in front of Union Station. And so now detectives are at all 3 hospitals trying to identify the victims and connect them with their individual families and determine who they are. They still can't they still are struggling to figure out exactly who all of the victims are and whether there are children, how many children are among the victims. Again, 22 people shot and at least 1 is known to be dead. Let's bring in NBC's Adrian Broadus, also Jim Kavanaugh, former ATF special agent in charge, and we have Frank Puglisi, former FBI officer. I'll tell you what, Jim, let's go to you first because I know you used to be assigned to the Kansas City field office.
Yeah, I'm feeling like that might start being a thing. I hope so.
Right? You're bringing in not only local police, but
You know
you've
what?
also got
If
ATF and FBI
parents
on the scene
should
as well.
have a,
Yes, I mean, the divisions for both.
they have a
ATF and
responsibility
FBI
to their
blocks
kids.
away. I mean, I've been to this train station.
And if
many
it has to
times,
be forced down their
I know that area
throat
very well. Yes, it's really
by the law, then I guess.
usually a quiet place. But what I think
Yeah.
we got here, Tom, is maybe, just maybe, we have an actor with a handgun with a Glock switch.
Hey, 50 Shades, I haven't seen you
Switch
forever.
Is a thing that turns a handgun into a machine gun. I mean, the chief was asked if there was firearms recovered, and at first she said firearms, and then she said, well, we have one firearm. Now, we have 22 people shot when they were running in the aftermath of the event. So I think, we've all discussed that unlikely to be a terrorism attack, as they would want to do it, for the most visual impact worldwide and at the height of the event, or shooting into the grandstands where the team is, something like that. They want that worldwide attention, and they're not going to be doing the shooting in the parking lot when everybody's leaving. But when you get into criminal actors who might be having disputes or gang activity, or
Oh,
it was
really?
related to a shooting earlier
Yeah,
in the day.
Cinema Shogun got
Why
people
are
ruffled
22
up,
people
huh?
shot? This person doesn't have a rifle, unlikely. I mean, it's certainly possible that he got a rifle out of a car, but it'd be interesting to see what the weapons are here. But I think it's possible we have a Glock switch on a pistol.
Jim and everybody stand by for 1 minute. Let's go to Peter Alexander, who's at the White House. And Peter, I understand the president has weighed in just the last few minutes.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Tom. Just a few minutes ago, we actually saw the president, the first lady.
Oh,
they
this ought to
came
be
out here
brilliant.
in front of the White House, where they were viewing the Valentine's decorations out front. The reporters had a chance to shout some questions to them. Specifically, we asked them about the latest information regarding the shooting in Kansas City. The president quickly said that we're getting more information about the shootings.
wow.
We don't have it all. We will share more about that later. We do know the president was briefed earlier this afternoon about that awful situation that took place in Kansas City, that federal law enforcement have been on scene in support of local law enforcement there. And obviously, this is one of the top issues that this president, this White House, Tom, has been focused on, the issue of crime, not just in the nation's capital where it has spiked, but around the country, and more specifically about concerns regarding gun violence. The president has pushed for a greater crackdown, for stricter gun restrictions, but obviously has run into a brick wall in terms of Republicans in Congress, who initially allowed for some changes to be made, but really have not allowed for the broader changes that this president has been calling for, in particular his desire.
Okay. Okay, I'm not going to listen to that because it's never been, the law has never said you're allowed to go and shoot a bunch of people. It's never said that. So I can't listen to that shit.
But people like you can see there in the Travis Kelce 87 jersey with their significant other running away from it. Maybe how can this moment impact so many? And maybe what's your advice to someone if they feel some sort of way that they're trying to negotiate?
Oh, yeah,
what's
it is
going
in
on,
Missouri.
What happened today? What's maybe your advice to people about
Kansas
this?
City, Missouri.
You know, it's interesting. I mean, we just had a mall shooting here in South Florida just a few hours ago. I was talking to you off camera just for a moment. And I mean, shootings take place all the time. It's senseless. But, training helps people move toward danger to eliminate the threat where others move away.
Yeah, it won't be too much longer. I'm just trying to
create a
get it
different
figured out.
challenge. So it's all about training. And I spend my life training with military,
No, he doesn't even know what the hell he's talking
special
about.
forces,
He didn't say that anyway.
individuals that are in harm's way every day. But the average person that doesn't have that training, of course you're going to run away. And you probably should. Because
Right,
if you
no.
don't have the training, you're the next person that's in front that could be harmed. But people
Yeah,
with
it's good to
training,
see you too,
running
50
toward
Shades.
that evidence, like the people that were tackling them, there's people around us that are military, police ops that are retired. They're in these places. Thank God these people exist around us, because there's a
Thank
lot
God,
of
good
community
civilians,
service
just
heroes
people
that are
that are
standing
armed
right next to us
also.
every day. And I think that's the mindset of us and our security is there's someone in this store, there's someone in this theater, there's someone, in this event that is trained to support and protect me. I just want to do the best I can do with the training that I have. So don't feel, the mayor is supposed to run away. He has people risking him away because it's dangerous. But there's also other people that will stand in harm's way. And, thank God for these people that are trained to do that. Military, police, unarmed people that are there that have been through training. And that's what it really comes down to. Stop doing that crazy. Don't stop living your life. Crazy is going to happen every day. Live your life. depend on your own training and the people around you to protect.
We need to
you.
start,
But these
people need to
cannot
have a
stop us
heart
from
and
living
have
our
some
lives.
kind of regard
Yeah,
for
there's
life,
a good
period.
comparison, obviously, police training compared to just making sure you train your mind and you're prepared for something like this. I do want to put up some video, Dr. Terry Lies, so stick with me. This is just about
Right, it doesn't have to
minute
be
and a half
somebody
of a
in the
woman
military.
talking there, an eyewitness outside
Hey, Bell
of this
Bell.
rally. And of course, I want to get maybe a little bit of your reaction, but let's listen into this here from a little bit ago on Live Now.
So it was actually like all of a sudden this guy came running through the crowd and he's like, get out of my way. And we were like, okay. And then this family came up to
Right,
us,
Jerry.
mom, dad, and like a 9-year-old and like a 5-year-old. And they were bawling and they said, we just saw somebody get shot in the lawn. And I said, okay, we need to find
Love
the
you,
police.
Ro.
Like, let's like rally up.
Don't be
let's
hiding
find
from
the
us.
police. And then all of a sudden,
We're here for
the
you.
crowd started
We're
just
praying for
rushing
you.
us and like trampling everybody. And so we kind of moved about and then we heard gunshots. And then he was like, dive into the fountain, like just dive into the fountain, like go into the fountain, keep your head down and that kind of stuff. Like dove face first. No
You can
water.
see the mud
Yeah.
stain on your leggings here.
Yes.
Is this ever something that you imagine that you guys would have to go through?
Ever. No, not ever.
Not on a day like
It's
today.
supposed
We're
to
all
be like a-
celebrating. I mean, everybody we talk to is all friendly. Doesn't matter who you are.
We met so many nice families and so many nice humans today, and it was just like a celebratory day. And then all of a sudden, like this happens, and now it's like, I don't want our city to like be tarnished because of this, because we have a great city. Like Kansas City is the #1 like nicest city in the world. Like, it's really sad.
What's going
It's
through your
really
mind
sad.
right now when this emotion comes up? What's
I
your
just-
message?
Yes, I
When
am,
saw
Miller.
those
That's what I
kids'
said.
cases about somebody getting hurt. Like they were tarnished and they were like scared. Like, and I don't know.
An incredible.
So that was a very difficult thing to watch. And Dr. Terry Liles, I want to bring you back in, but she talked about it because there are so many kids, so many people that are football fans that are growing up and they see something like this happen and potentially a child seeing someone get shot. That could certainly impact you. Maybe how much can trauma impact a young individual, especially when their mind is still
They're going to
developing?
start just telling us dumb shit now.
Trauma is energy
Hey,
in
Region.
and hopefully energy out, which is
I know,
negative
isn't this
response,
crazy?
mentally, emotionally, spiritually, or physically. So trauma is not really necessarily the issue. It's can we transition it and how quickly can we transition it? So she said something really interesting from the person next to her who said, just jump in the water, protect yourself. That individual has training. Seek and evade, so just seek shelter, evade harm. And as a result of that, these things happen. Listen, today is the Parkland shooting anniversary, unfortunately, 6 years ago.
Oh, shit.
Today. And I live here and, we have too many of these.
Yeah, we need to see what
conversations on
Cinema
media
Shogun's got something
where
from the
there's
White
shootings
House.
and there's tragedy. However, preparedness is what makes the difference between threat and challenge.
That is,
In other words, as long as we're ready and prepared, you don't know what's going to happen. Just
I
make
know,
sure
Mama.
that
I
your
know.
head's
It's
on a
really
swivel.
sad.
We live in this society where we have to do this now, where we didn't have 2 years ago. Now we do. It's our new reality. Accept it. We still live in a great country. There's other countries that have bigger issues than we do with tragedy, but we have to actually.
I don't accept it. I don't accept it. No. We need to start having regard for life. We are going to have trauma. We are, but we don't have to accept that. We don't have to act like life doesn't mean anything. I'm telling you, I listened to my young adult great nieces. I'm not even kidding you. One of them was telling me that a friend of hers died. He overdosed. He was up on the roof, fell off the roof into the pool and drowned. And it was on Mother's Day. And she told me that the mom said it was meant to be. The fuck it was. What do you mean it was meant to be? And what the fuck's wrong with people? No. It is. It's people's hearts. That is the problem. It's the hearts of people. Jackie, did you see that Chief fans tackled one of the? Yeah, I did see that. I saw that. Let's see what Senator Shogun said is happening with what the White House said. He put out a thing earlier. Ay, people.
And they confirmed to me that this has to do with a threat related to space. We already have from our other sourcing that there has been reporting on.
Thank you, Ro. You don't have to go anywhere.
Here have confirmed is in the ballpark, which is that it has to do with an emerging capability from Russia that would be of grave seriousness, potentially.
A threat in outer space? Ladies and gentlemen, we have officially reached the point where we're no longer just worried about the threats on the ground. Like we're no longer just worried about the threats on Earth. We now have to worry about the threats in outer space. Earlier today, I put out a video that there was this warning about this national security threat, and that Congress and the current administration, Joe Biden, they have information about this threat, but they weren't talking about it openly. So some members of the U.S. government are out here trying to get them to more openly discuss this new threat. This is breaking news right now, so there's not a lot of information out there about this. I want you all to keep that in mind, and by the time you watch this, there may be new details. But right now, they're just saying, oh, there's this threat in space, and apparently, it's a threat from Russia, some type of new Russian capability. Unfortunately, we're living in a time where we have to wonder, is this a credible threat? Is this something that we have to worry about? And yeah, I do think it's a huge possibility that this is something we may have to worry about. But again, we also have to wonder.
Yeah, Raging, it's been hard.
Is this them trying to make a big stir? Are they trying to make, some
I miss you too, though.
Just to drum up more support to send more money to Ukraine? Is this their latest tactic to get us to send more money to Ukraine? Or is this a real issue that we all need to be worried about? And you just have to add this to the list of vague warnings that we've been getting lately. And I've covered a lot of them on my channel. There's been so much going on, and people really don't know the half of it. A lot of people don't know the half of it. But if you've been tuned in, you've heard all of these random warnings that keep coming from the FBI, they keep coming from the CIA. Now, I think those warnings have nothing to do with what we're talking about today, but this just adds to the list of crazy things that are going on. And it just feels like all-out war is inevitable at this point. I feel like there's kind of no way out of it. And the reason why there's no way out of it is because the powers that be don't want out of it. They want war. And
me too, Quinn.
I'm looking
me
around,
too.
There's very
What the
limited
fuck?
information out there as to what's going on right now.
I'm telling you, everybody needs
There's
to get
supposed to
on
be
their
some
knees and
high-profile meetings
pray to God. I'm telling
happening
you.
Today, tomorrow, who knows what's going on behind the scenes. But from everything I've gathered, this threat is supposedly some new capability.
You too,
that
DC.
Russia
Love
has
you.
developed to put nukes in outer space that will like wipe out our freaking space stations, they'll wipe out our satellites, you name it. Apparently, I can't confirm this for a 100% fact. Let me be clear. I have to be clear. I need to be responsible here with this information. I can't confirm for a 100% fact that this is the threat that they are indeed talking about. We do know they're talking about a threat in outer space. This is, some stuff. There's been rumblings going on, in Washington, D.C. There's been rumblings going on all over the internet about stuff like this for a while. I believe this is the threat they're talking about, a threat of potentially putting some type of nuclear weapons or something in outer space that will wipe out our satellites. I thought that, they probably already had the capability to do this. I thought America already had the capability to do this. I don't know if this is something new, but they're definitely treating this as if it's something new, some type of new technology, some new development that, Russia has created with the capability of wiping out all of our space equipment, if you will. So I don't know what you all can do with that information. All I know is we are in some interesting times. Either this is something that we really should be worried about, or this is something that they are overhyping so we can send more money to Ukraine. But either way, this is very concerning, very concerning. And, we've talked about the possibilities of something like this happening. Our internet and our phone lines and everything being wiped out. That's the new way of warfare. That's how war is going to be waged in the future. A lot of people laughed when the Space Force was created. A lot of people joked about it. They made a whole parody comedy TV series about it, starring, what is his name? Steve Carell from the 40-Year-Old Virgin. But that's the times we're living in. World War III, a lot of it will be fought in outer space. A lot of it will be about taking out satellites and certain equipment that we have floating out there in orbit. So I don't know, folks. It's just, it's very scary to think of the possibility of that happening. How would we respond? Is our government capable of shutting out communications on us and blaming a foreign government in order to implement martial law or something?
Oh, I'm right there with you, Jerry. I know.
We can go in various different
He
directions.
does me too.
But this is what we know so far. I'll keep you updated.
At least he's not talking like a damn idiot.
Comments below. If you're feeling generous and you want to donate to the channel, you can do so via Cash App. I'll have my Cash App in the pinned comment. You can also help this channel by sharing, liking, and subscribing. But with that being said, I'll talk to you all very soon in the next one.
Aimed Union Station. Police darting through crowds and dozens of ambulances rushing to the scene. The breaking details just in. Also tonight, Russian security threat. The House Intelligence Committee chairman making a rare public statement.
Yeah, maybe we can hear something more about that, huh?
Security threat. The chairman urging President Biden to declassify all info related to the threat. White House officials saying there's no need for mass panic. What we now know about the classified information, its ties to Russia.
I don't trust nobody. Yeah, I got zero faith in
The
these
suspect
people.
barricaded in his home for hours, firing off shots. The dangerous situation forcing school lockdowns. Toxic beach, Mexican sewage hitting San Diego's beaches. The crisis going well beyond the waters as officials warn of a potential environmental catastrophe. Youth sports turning into Fight Club. Games getting out of hand, not with the kids, but with the parents and relatives in the stands. The brawl spilling onto fields and courts, and sometimes involving the referees. Minnesota lawmakers calling timeout, pushing a bill that would slap unruly spectators with a $1,000 fine. Plus, Queen Bee of country? Beyonce out with a new look and a new sound. So why did a country station turn down a fan's Beyonce song request? The station now reversing course, but the move striking a chord with the Beehive. Is Beyonce about to take over a new genre and show everyone who runs that world? And sick of swiping? More people ditching dating apps, yearning for the old-fashioned way to meet people in person. Remember pickup culture, singles bars, Blind dates? The creative ways people are searching for love this Valentine's Day. Top story starts right now. And good evening. Moments of celebration turning scary and, in at least one case, deadly. The Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl parade, now the site of America's latest mass shooting. The shots rang out at Kansas City's famed Union Station. Just as people were leaving the parade, police jumping over parade barricades and darting through crowds as they ran towards danger. Horrifying images of the wounded being loaded into ambulances. We know at least one person is dead, and officials confirming 22 others were shot. A local children's hospital says at least 9 of the patients are children. Panic and mayhem filling the streets as people ran away from the gunfire. Police confirming 3 people were detained. Police are working to figure out if this man, seen tackled by bystanders, is one of the men detained. The Kansas City Chiefs releasing this statement, writing in part, quote, "We are truly saddened by this senseless act of violence." NBC's Jesse Kirsch was there for all of it. Tonight, he has the late-breaking details.
Tonight, what was meant to be a day of celebration for Kansas City
shots fired on the west side.
instead became a day of fear and panic.
We just heard a bunch of, pop, and people started running and scattering. And the girl next to me, where my daughter was standing with her husband, was shot in the mouth. Our children witnessed it. She was on the ground, bleeding from her mouth, all over her shoulder.
Police say at least one person was killed and up to 15 injured after a shooting at a parade celebrating the Chiefs' second straight Super Bowl win.
Immediately, officers responded to the area, took 2 people into custody, and also immediately rendered life-sustaining aid to those victims.
Just moments earlier, it was an all-out party. Officials had prepared for about 1 million people to pack downtown.
Kansas City, let me hear you one time.
It was all winding down when suddenly the atmosphere changed.
We might have a situation here we're trying to keep an eye on.
Our Kansas City station KSHB was broadcasting live.
Mood has definitely shifted here as we're seeing everybody.
I ran the baby outside. I'm
Shots
sorry
rang
that
out,
stopped, guys.
confusion in the crowd.
Everyone started running out of the building, and you could hear people yelling, "Active shooter, active shooter."
As some fans began to flee,
they were telling us to run, but then they said active shooter. And then so we just dropped down to the ground. My daughter tried to climb on top of me to protect me. And I tried to just hold her so nothing would happen to her.
police rushed in, searching for the shooter. The police chief says the response was immediate, with more than 800 officers already on scene for the parade.
I'm angry at what happened today. The people who came
There
to
are
this
cameras.
celebration
That's why I
should
don't know
expect
how
a safe
anything goes
environment.
unsolved these
The injured
days.
carried out on
There's a
stretchers.
camera
A
on
sniper
every single
ready
thing.
on a nearby rooftop. 3 law enforcement officials briefed on the case tell NBC News the shooting is believed to be criminal in nature and not terrorism. Before the parade, I asked the mayor about plans to keep the event safe.
Our police department's prepared for whatever comes our way.
The mayor says all Chiefs players, coaches, and staff are accounted for and safe. Tonight, the Chiefs writing in a statement, "We are truly saddened by this senseless act of violence." And 3 days after winning the Super Bowl, Patrick Mahomes posting, praying for Kansas City.
Jesse joins us tonight from Kansas City. Jesse, you were there originally to cover the celebrations. Talk to us about the moments after the gunfire started, what you heard, what you saw, and just the reaction of the crowd as we saw in your package.
Yeah, Tom, so I want you to imagine the end of any major event. People know it's wrapping up. People are trickling out toward the exits, in this case, just moving away from this general area. That was.
And that's what's really terrifying to me. That really scares me, is the pandemonium that goes on in something like this. That kind of stuff always makes me nervous. And, even no matter what, anytime I'm at anything, I do start looking around where are the exits? Where, is a good place to get the hell out of here? I'm always thinking that way everywhere I go. And I don't necessarily care to go to a lot of things. But the fact is, you know, if we don't get a handle on, if we don't start caring about we don't get common sense back. First of all, we got to have common sense, and we have to start caring about humanity. We just do. This shit's not going to stop. It's going to keep on and keep on going on. It's not going to stop unless we start giving. First of all, we walked away from God. So what do we, you know, then we want to ask, you know, for his help. Really? Yeah, you do. You have to know your surroundings. You do, no matter where you're at or what the hell's going on. I'm always really big trying to just keep my eye on what the hell's happening around me. But, you know, it's just, it goes along with everything. If people don't give a shit about anything, like I said, you've got everybody driving around looking at their phones, not paying attention to the road. That right there scares the shit out of me. That absolutely scares me. I think that's possibly gotten worse than DUI. Because people are not paying a damn bit of attention while they're driving. Yep, that's me. Well, Mr. Snotty always says, you're not going to get me out of this house unless it's on fire. Yeah, I'm not one to go running amok either. Right. Right. Right, Cajun. That's the same thing. You know, you start looking around thinking about all these different things. You know, I'm not necessarily afraid most places, I guess, but I'm cautious. And I don't try to get involved in a bunch of shit that doesn't concern me. I mostly try to tend to my own, not get too involved in things. But we have to quit acting like it's a law. My God. You know what? How many fucking laws do they just keep coming up with a law for this and a law for that? You know what? It's already illegal to shoot people. What the fuck do you think you're going to do? What kind of law is going to change people from giving a fuck about anyone? If people don't give a shit, then they don't give a shit. They're going to run you down with their car. They're going to do whatever the hell. People don't care. People have become immune to people with just ODing right there in front of them and shit. I've never had that in my life, and I would feel so ill about it. When I hear kids talking about it, how many people have been affected by drugs? I can tell you in my life a whole lot. And you see, and I see more people. I'm not happy about shootings, not one bit. I'm not trying to act like I'm okay with that. But there is a lot bigger problem here than the fucking gun itself. A lot bigger problem. If we don't start giving a shit about each other, then I don't know what the hell we can do. This shit of people pouring across the border, who actually is concerned about what's happening to them? They're being raped, they're being extorted, they're being, you know, and plus we don't have any idea who they are. We do need to care. We need to, you're right, we do need to care. We need to care about one another. We need to help each other. You know what? We don't need our government to fix everything. Quite frankly, I would rather they let me choose my own charity instead of making me pay for whatever fucking horseshit they would like to indulge in. Because we actually are caring people. We're giving people. We care. I think we are. We help our fellow man. We help each other. That's the way it's supposed to be. Don't you think about it. In the days whenever, at church or whatever, there was always a family that needed help and everybody went over and everybody pitched in to help out, and everybody brought a dish and all the men went and helped, build the barn or whatever. We used to, that's humanity. That we need to do things like that. And there is a lot of that goes on, I think. But you got to get people more involved in it. Tragic's right. Parents need to be involved with their kids. But watching this trial, you're looking at Kayla and you're looking at Crystal and you look at Adam, and everyone goes, where are the grandparents? Well, how do you think that these people are like the reason they are? Because their parents didn't give a shit about them either. Right, Tammy? Me too. Exactly. Everybody pulled together and everybody did things for each other. But you want to know what? You want to know let's be very fucking clear. The only reason Adam wanted that child was for the fucking check, the food stamps, and the check he was getting every month for her. That is exactly why he wanted that kid. And that's a bunch of shit. That's why that shit is not, you know what? I like people to have help, but you know what? We're supposed to help each other. We're not supposed to hand somebody money for that. The fucking dealer said yesterday they bought drugs with food stamps from him. This is all a bunch of shit, is what it is. It's a bunch of crap. Care about your family, care about your kids, care about your neighbor. I was raised, that's why, like, and at our church and stuff, it was like, hey, brother so-and-so, sister so-and-so, it's like a family, and people pulled together and prayed for everyone and try to help. Right? See, that's the way I grew up. Exactly. I get so tired of that, Region. I get so fucking tired of it. No, just print. Nothing is free. Just stop it. Somebody is paying, and if the government's running it, we're paying way too much for it. Because those motherfuckers don't know how to shop. Tell me when you're spending somebody else's money, you care about it near as much as when you're spending your own. That's just common sense, okay? That's why I used to tell Mr. Snotty when the kids were all still home. I said, we're just going to baby this washer and dryer until they're gone. Once they buy their own washer and dryer, they'll understand they can't put every fucking thing they own in a damn load of wash. Until then, they're not going to get it. You don't ever pay for something yourself. This is what the government is. Let's just go ahead and piss money all away all everywhere. It's so irritating. And just throw money at shit, but they don't really care about it. They don't really care. Exactly. We help our neighbors. I don't understand what the fuck's going on these days. Yep. I remember this happening at my house. And everybody, like I said, every time anything happens, it's so weird. Like somebody passes away, somebody has a baby, whatever happens, I just start cooking. Okay, well, I can take over some dishes and, try to do whatever you can do. But people should think about that. That is the only reason Adam had that child with him. It's the only reason he wanted her was for that check. And they continued to get it for 2 fucking years while she was dead. Yeah, that's just a fact. Continue to buy drugs with it. You're not helping anybody with shit like that. Really, Raging? Oh my God. Am I the only one that does that? I almost have this nervous thing. As soon as I found out Beck had the baby, I had fucking all kinds of casseroles going on. I'm just going to cook. I don't know what the hell else to do right now. See, this is what I'm talking about. And eating at, or not feeding the kids. Everybody's sitting in that car, pissing, shitting, just sitting in squalor. They were getting all this money every month. Not even going and brushing those damn kids' teeth. But I know it's so funny because you know what? There's certain dishes that you just know you're going to have at that kind of stuff, right, Regent? I know we're going to have some enchiladas. It's disgusting. And everybody acts like that shit's free. People are paying for all this horse crap. I would rather you not take my money and give it to somebody who's going to use that money to kill their damn child. That baby was wanted and loved and could have lived somewhere else, but because of that fucking check, he insisted on having that kid and they let him have her. It's exactly what the fuck happened. You know what? Let me have my money. I will help my neighbor. I will help people. I do help people. That's the shit. That's the way it happens. Fried chicken, right? People don't act the way they used to. I remember when we put a new fence up at our house with my mom, all of her brothers, everybody came over, bunch of food was happening, bunch of work going on. Right. The only thing I always can think of is, okay, at least you don't have to cook. I don't think. You know, and especially times like that, because you don't know what to do for people. I don't know how I can't fix it. I want to fix everything. I always do. Some things you can't. See, exactly. It's exactly right, Cindy. Yes. See, you're not helping people with that shit. You're not helping. Who was watching over any of that? Nobody's watching over it. Just, it's not your money, so just keep doling it out for people to fucking overdose and buy drugs with it. It's fucking disgusting. They didn't take care of those kids at all. The way they lived was in squalor. It was gross. Getting $3,000. What the fuck? And they do that. I've heard people talk about it. News Nation alert. Okay, let me go look. Oh, shit. Now we got the White House saying we got to worry about space. Oh, fucking Lord. I cannot with this crap. About Kansas City or about what? Okay, let's see. Oh yeah, they don't. I remember there is no way I would have sat down while people were doing dishes and shit. No. Mm-mm. It says video obtained from shooting. Oh my God, I don't see it. Just on, damn it. Oh, I want to see that. Dang it. Okay, let me see. I want to see this really bad. Can you put the link in here? Mine is coming up from 3 hours ago. Shit. Let me see. I'll try. Oh, okay. Oh, wait. Okay, this is 30 minutes ago. Yeah, I can't find it. Let me see. Oh, wait. Let's see. Wait, right here. Moving to the camp. No, we're not, Queen. We're not. Mr. Snotty took himself out of pork chop. Oh, notification on the app. Are you having something special? Who's having a special dinner tonight? Queen, do you know how to get that? Ragin says there's a News Nation alert video of the shooting, but I can't find it. Add egg salad. Egg salad sounds yummy. Well, that sounds good too, Gobby. Dr. Pepper. Oh, that sounds really good. Oh, really, Ragin? I know, right? Oh my God. This is good trouble. That is so funny. I would make myself sick when I was a kid. I always found the most. My basket was overflowing, and I would just go park my ass somewhere and eat so many eggs, I would be sick. I make egg salad a lot right now. We like it. I like to eat it with crackers. Oh, is this it? Hold on, let's see. Hurry up, that's gross. Okay, I think I might have found it. I found something. News Nation KS. Right, that's what I'm finding too. That's what I'm finding too, Queen. I eat boiled eggs a lot for protein. Yeah, I love boiled eggs. Mr. Snotty is a big egg person, but I don't eat a lot of eggs, but I like hard-boiled eggs. I found this one, but I don't know.
No, we tackled him. We tackled him. Yeah. When we tackled him, the gun came out. You're good. Who's the other guy? Back up. Hey, I got the gun. Hey, I got the gun. You filming this? Yeah. Who was the other guy that helped me? I don't know. I think he took off already.
It's a celebration. My Louisiana really makes me wonder.
Ours is fast!
With real-life swamp creatures!
In my Louisiana, music is a way of life.
My Louisiana is sheer magic.
From sun up to sundown.
Till sunup again. What will your Louisiana be?
When you find your Louisiana, you feed your soul.
That they talk to or not. Of course, our goal is to bring them in, stabilize them, make sure they're getting the care they need, and I'm sure we'll hear stories after that.
All right, you guys.
Thank you guys for your time.
I will tell you that the Chiefs have been reaching out to us, and they have been incredibly supportive. They want to support us and the kids in the community and our staff. So
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
Oh, we do love Milo over here. We do. I don't have TikTok. I don't know. I try to, but I don't ever understand. You made spaghetti for them, but I'm going to spend time with my husband here soon. Oh, you guys, they are the cutest couple. They are absolutely the cutest couple. Mr. and Mrs. Queen. They have a lot of videos. There even shows the guy got hanged. Oh, see, I need to. I should have TikTok. I don't know why I don't. Because I don't understand how to use all these things. I did have it, but I don't really. Oh, wait. TikTok news. Oh, you know what I should do? Oh my God. You're banned on TikTok? Okay, News Nation, NBC News, breaking news. I remember something about that, Jerry. Oh my God. Wow. Oh my God, Mrs. Goodfellow. Okay, let me see. Yeah, I'm just finding what we've already seen. Damn it. Oh, wow, I'm way behind. Oh, God, I haven't looked at my phone forever. There's all kinds of shit here. Dang. Wow, where did you get that at? Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. Now I see. Okay. Now I see it. Right. 30s is young for me, too. Oh, my gosh. I have not. I have not heard that either. I have not. Me either, Queen. I have not heard that at all. Right. See, I feel like people were running inside. That chief of police said it happened outside. But everybody was running inside. Or the police were, rather. Sorry. I don't know how to see, there's somebody arrested right there. Can you guys see it good? But that's not what it looked like. The guy that they tackled, that doesn't look like the guy that they tackled. He wasn't wearing red. Yeah. Yeah. Right, Mrs. Goodrow. This guy is in handcuffs, but I know the guy that when we just saw the video of the guy getting tackled, he wasn't wearing red. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's more than one. Right. There's 3 people. Yeah, it's not. Right. Yeah, Mrs. Good Trouble. Yeah, that's what I saw too. Oh, I thought he was wearing like it looked like a tannish brown hoodie and pants. Maybe a sweatsuit. Looked like a hoodie over a. Yeah, we saw that somewhere. Okay, News Nation, let's see. They have I do. It's Jackie Snotty at Gmail. Right. There are 3 though, they say. I kind of feel like it is, Tammy, because they're saying it's criminal in nature. Oh, sorry. Well, I haven't been in here because I've been over trying to. I've been looking at my phone and on other. Oh, you said that. Okay, shit. Okay, I don't see. Oh, I see. I see what you're saying now. Okay, okay. I'm like, there's nothing there from you. See, I keep leaving chat and then I'm getting confused. So I'm over here in my email finding out about yet another Daisy bra I have on the way that, just like Fig said, I can add to my graveyard of bras. Oh my God. Like, I don't see anything from you. Yeah, I'm going to keep going over there, though. Well, I feel like maybe rival gangs ran into each other. I don't know. Oh my God. Oh shit. Get out of here. Oh, shit. This is hilarious. Oh my God, that's funny. Oh my God. Okay, yes, that is what I saw too. Okay, that's yes. I would never do that. Not ever, not ever. Okay, that's why I thought I saw brown and like a beigeish type brown or something. Oh my God, that was funny. No. Oh my God, that made me laugh. Yeah, that's what I saw in the video. Oh my God. So that's right, right. That one would be in 20s, it appears. Yeah. The other guy, no, I think he's definitely late 30s, in my opinion. I couldn't blow that picture up. When I clicked on it, it just put me into a video. So that's two of them that we see. I would like to see, oh my God, I know, I'm horrible. I get so freaked out if I see like blood or anything, but like I could not help it. I watched that kid. I watched the video where that kid fell out of that ride in Orlando, and I wish I hadn't. Made my stomach so sick. It's horrible. I mean, I can't help it. I like to watch a train wreck as much as anybody else. However, I'm not down with watching Michelle. It's a train wreck I want nothing to do with. Yeah, that's not a teen. I don't think. Not in my opinion. But that is who I saw in the video. Because I knew I saw like a tannish hoodie thing, but I thought I saw brown somewhere too. So that makes perfect sense. Mm. You know what? Look at that. Looks like a piece of aluminum right there. That shit scares me. That is sharp as a damn hot knife going through butter. I worry about pieces of tin flying around.
It's like quicksand. Probably don't need quite the word.
I know. Like, oh my God. Yeah. Like, remember that when I first saw that thing on Facebook years ago and it said, when I was a kid, I really thought that quicksand was going to be a much bigger problem than it turns out. I worry about flying tin. That shit's sharp as shit. Up near our property, when we drive around, I've seen some pieces of tin and I'm like, that just, I think about it constantly. Like, that's going to fly around somewhere and just slice somebody's head right the fuck off. Really? What the hell? I know, Queen, I haven't either. When I started playing this stuff earlier, it was 12 minutes old and I have been playing it for hours. I have not heard that about teens. I'm not saying that that it's not out there, but I personally have not heard it. Right. Right. But there you go, Queen. That's also because we did hear somebody saying that there were multiple events. There were more than one event. We have heard that a couple of times. Right. It might have been a whole, I think there were different incidents. Yep. But there weren't multiple shootings. That's my understanding. I don't know. These are alleged facts, folks, okay? Oh, really, Tammy? Okay. Well, when you're dealing with alleged facts, you never know. And that's exactly what all of this is. It is very sad regardless. It's a very sad thing. Just even, just the whole scene. It's sad and scary and all of that. And I really wish that we would get our hearts right in this country. That's what I think. Right. All kinds of chaos. Exactly right. Right, Queen. I didn't either. My mind was damn near numb from watching the prosecution fuck up that damn trial. So many times I tend to blame jurors that seem to not be my peers, but a lot of times, let's face it, it's the prosecution. They're screwing this up 10 ways to fucking Sunday. I'm telling you right now. There is definite reasonable doubt. I gotta say. And I think the very best defense has been the prosecution. Because today I have no fucking idea what they were talking about. None. I kept asking everybody, does anybody know what's going on? I can't even figure out what the hell they're talking about. I know I've been live for way too long, that's for sure. Boys with no business having guns or more. That's right. It's exactly right. Now, I'm telling you, what needs to happen is we need everybody to get on their knees and beg God to forgive us and get some kind of sense. Nobody has a damn lick of sense these days. They just don't. They don't. Like I told you guys, you know, where my son used to work, it's a huge company, huge. There's not one person that does not know this company. And I'm telling you, the vice president got on a Zoom call with them and cried because she's white. Seriously? I mean, what the fuck is that? That's not, seriously, stop it. Let's just get some damn civility, humanity, and sense. That's ridiculous. It's completely fucked up. What are you supposed to do with that? That's what they want us to do, though. I don't know a single person who bases any fucking thing they do at all, ever, on what color somebody is. I don't know those people. I don't want to know those people. And I think most people don't. But I'm not, I don't have a problem with anybody's color, including my fucking own. Sorry. Fucking ridiculous. Cry about it. I mean, how can you even have a sensible conversation with somebody like that? Fucking ridiculous. Okay, I love you, Frazzled. Yeah, I'm going to cut this off because I don't know anything more that's going on. But thanks for hanging out with me on this, guys. Thank you so much, Frazzled. I know it's been a long day. Been hanging in there with me. A lot of you guys have. Thank you so much for that. So I will cut this off and I'll be back on with that crap in the morning. Thank you guys for hanging out. Yeah, it's good to see you, Mrs. Good Trouble. It's really good to see you. Everybody have a wonderful Valentine's evening. And I love you. I will talk to you tomorrow. And since it is evening, I will say shut up, Hondo, and good night, Ira McGinnis, wherever you are. Good night, Gabi. Love you. Aww. Let us know. Everybody pray for Gabi. She needs prayers right now. She's struggling with something. Please do that. And everybody pray for humanity to heal hearts. Please. Bye, guys.